What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of a 30 NSG on the Daily Grind. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Nintendo is taking desperate measures in the patent infringement case against Palworld. We're also going to be talking about ZeniMax. QA testers face whiplash as work morale following Microsoft's games layoffs. We'll talk about that a little bit. We're also going to watch a video by Bueller News. Talk about AAA wants you afraid. Stop killing games has them sweating. So we're going to watch that as well. And then if we have time at the end of the show, we got one that goes down the rabbit hole. We're going to watch Hacker Warns Millions of Being Watched right now. Make sure you check these devices. So we're going to watch that as well. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams. We do uploads. We do podcasts. We do gameplay. We have multiple channels. All the music that you heard before the show, if you'd like to support the channel in other ways besides the like button, besides the subscribe button, besides becoming a membership, you can go check out and stream the music that we created all over Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all major platforms. It's called Perk Up, Press Play. Check it out on all major platforms. What's going on, chat? What's going on, War? What's going on, Eclipse? Wonder Rose, good morning. Sarge, good morning. Travis, Roick, good morning. All right, so let's get started. Robert Jones, good morning. So let's get started with the first story here, which is Nintendo is taking desperate measures in a patent infringement case against Palworld, and it looks a little weird. They say weird, I say petty, right? We talked about this ahead of time, way before, when Palworld first came out. When they first showed Palworld, we said that Nintendo would sue. Like, all of us thought that, right? We all thought, we said, 100%, Nintendo's going to sue. Then Palworld came out, and nothing was said. We were like, huh, okay. But then Palworld started making a crap ton of money. And Nintendo was like, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. So then they decided to file patents after the fact and then try to sue Pocket Pair and Palworld, right? So if you guys like what I do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It says Nintendo is taking desperate measures in a patent infringement case against Palworld, and it's looking a little weird. Pocket Pair may have stronger defense than Nintendo anticipated, according to a new report by patent expert. Okay, so it's been pretty quiet on the news front on the ongoing battle between Nintendo and Pocket Pair over alleged patent infringement in Palworld. However, the mainstream audience awaits the final verdict. Legal and patent experts are watching the case and digging through the documentation in impressive detail. The latest report from GamesFray has uncovered some rather unusual behavior from Nintendo as they continue to fight to shut down Palworld, and it seems that the fight in Japan isn't leading or landing the punches they hoped. Nintendo is making some unusual moves, including rewriting one of its own patents mid-lawsuit, and in the words of an expert, it's bizarre. Here's the crazy part. You know something's up when you made a patent after the fact so you can protect yourself against the other competitors where, you patent throwing a ball, or you patent getting off a mount or using the glider, okay? But then while they submitted that patent late, they are now changing the patents mid-lawsuit. Tell me you don't have a case, and this right here is manipulation, man. This is BS. Okay, again, I'm not a lawyer in any way, shape, or form, but as just a person who, let's say you're arguing with somebody, and all of a sudden the argument, they just change, they move directions, they move the goalposts, okay? That's not what we're arguing about. We're arguing about this thing. And now, because this thing is not the way you see it, you're now changing it because it's not going your way. That's bullshit. This should all be tossed out. But I know that's not how it works. And corporate America, or corporate, I should say, in the world, tends to win. Okay, so Nintendo are moving goalposts mid-case. There you go. Okay, so to quickly recap, Nintendo is suing Pocket Pair for patent infringement in Japan, based on the resemblance of certain mechanics in Palworld to Pokemon. There are 3 patents in total, including a suit of which Nintendo are seeking the equivalent of $66,000 damage. The crazy part is it's only $66,000. They're trying to make a statement here. They're not trying to obliterate the company. They're trying to make a statement for the entire industry. Okay? 2 about capturing monsters, and 1 about how they can switch between riding different creatures. Pocket Pair defense includes use of prior art from numerous other games and also uses similar mechanics, none of which Nintendo has pursued for damages. There's also a clear evidence of Palworld demonstrating its mount switching mechanic. One of the patents is questioned 6 months prior to Nintendo filing for patent. So how does Nintendo respond to Pocket Pair's defense? According to this Games Fry report, Nintendo recently went to Japan Patent Office and asked to change the patent about switching rides midair. So here's what's happening, right? Pocket Pair just made a game, selling the game. They're like, hey, let's make this. We're in our rights to do what we're doing. Nintendo's like, you can't do this. You're not allowed to change or change the mechanic of where you're riding mounts. So Pocket Pair, instead of letting them be the way they are, they're changing it because technically the game's not out yet. It's still an open, like it's still beta technically, right? So they're still changing it as they go. And now Nintendo is like, hold up, they're changing it where they're changing the mechanics, so we need to change our patent to make sure that they don't change it for something that we're not covering. Like, what are we talking about? You don't own the entire thing of the mechanic. This stuff has to stop, okay? It says that's a bold move, an unusual move, and one usually only happens when the original patent looks weak, okay? The update version uses some bizarre language, including the phrase, even when, which is not standard or clear in patent law. It says, quote, I've been following the patent litigation for 15 years, and for the better part of a period as a consultant, I have been seeing many claims that are also amended, okay, but never seen even when and if, or even if the patent claim is bizarre, okay? It says if you want some light bedtime reading, you can read the entire claim online here, but it's also specifically wording changes to the phrase, and when you use the language not generally seen in legal claims such as this. It's also even more telling that the amendments have been made in mid-case. It says it's just a phrase change. Why the big deal? Okay, changing a patent in the middle of the ongoing case is risky, and it signals that Nintendo perhaps doesn't believe its current claim will hold up in court. Using vague languages like this doesn't inspire confidence, and with the new wording is so clunky in context the entire claim that also may do more harm in the case than good. Games Fray refers to the move as a Hail Mary to further states its desperate attempt to win by doing something odd. How about the U.S. case? Nintendo is still trying to build a case in the U.S. soil, but it's also so far that I haven't actually filed a lawsuit there. It's also been awarded 4 patents in the U.S. so far, but Pocket Pair is continuously changing Palworld to effectively become a moving target. Okay? They're not trying to be held. And I love how Nintendo's already preemptively, in America, they're trying to sue them. They're trying to put a case together. So basically, the Japan one is like the testing ground, right? To see what they can get away with there. And then if they don't get it there, they'll change the wording and stuff for the patent over in America, which is still scummy because they're filing the patent after the game came out, right? Do we see that? Filing the patent after the other game came out, not before, after. So it says, for example, Pocket Pair removed the PAL-specific gliding mechanic, so you can no longer switch between mounts on the fly, and they removed the ability to throw PAL spheres to summon capture PALs. The more changes Palworld implements, the more useless Nintendo's patent claims become, though Nintendo appears to be tweaking claims in hope of tailoring them to whatever version the game comes out or comes next. Like, this is like, you ever see when you have like a little brother or a little sister, right? Or one of those comedy acts where someone does something and then the other person mimics them and they're like, stop it. And they're like, stop it. Stop copying me. Stop copying me. Right? Like, that's what Nintendo feels like right now. Okay? Nintendo is not doing anything for their public persona. Okay? Now, a lot of people love Nintendo. They'll defend Nintendo till they're dead. Right? Even though Nintendo doesn't even know they exist and don't care about them, They will defend Nintendo, but Nintendo is a very, very bossy, pushy company, okay? So much so that they're going after someone and then moving the goalposts as they're attacking them. They're like, oh, well, they got rid of the mounts. Well, let's change the wording for the mounts that they're using. Oh, well, they got rid of the spheres. Well, let's make sure we change it so they can't throw squares or they can't throw rectangles or they're not throwing it all. They're just trying to change it so they can win the case or set a precedence inside the industry itself. It said, could Nintendo win? There is, of course, still very chance that Nintendo is successful with the claims, and after all, it has a solid history of winning cases. However, the company's goal may not just be to impact Palworld, but scaring off indie studios from making games that even feel remotely similar to Pokemon. 100%. This is a shot across the bow, 66,000 lawsuit, which is nothing. They're going for the bigger prize. The bigger prize is scaring off everybody else so nobody else ever attempts to make another game like this like they have, because they want to do the minimal viable product. In my personal opinion, Nintendo doesn't want to do the work. They want to do the bare minimal viable product and have no competition, right? They would love to do what Madden does, where they have zero competition. They want to just own that space and dominate that space and give you another Pokemon game that was broke, buggy, and unfinished with no competition. That is what Nintendo is going for. Okay. However, the company's goal may not be just to impact, like I said, though it has also been seen from announcements like upcoming Amino that the tactic doesn't seem to be working either. But what do you think? Is Nintendo right to defend the patents this aggressively, or is there another case of trying to stomp out competition? Well, first of all, I think they have a right to defend patents if they had the patent filed before the games came out. But Nintendo didn't have these patents. And they had these patents after the fact because they saw how popular Palworld was. And they were scared. Okay? So saying Nintendo has the right to defend its patents as aggressively, I think it does have, every company has a right to aggressively defend their patents. But when your patent didn't exist before this game, you should not be able to sue this company. Sorry, you didn't have these patents before this other game came out. So competition is good for everybody. It makes your workers better. It makes your company better because you have to provide better stuff for the consumers. And you're all competing for the consumers because the consumers are the ones paying for your products. So are these kinds of illegal fights protecting IP or killing creativity? Let me know in the comments section down below. I think it's a little bit of both. Right? I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's killing creativity and protecting the IPs. Okay? Because they don't want any competition, and they also don't want anyone else to compete, and they want them to make something else where you could switch and change things. I mean, perfect example. Okay? Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers came out way, way before Helldivers. Right? So is nobody allowed to make a bug-killing game? No. Helldivers came out, and they also shot bugs, and there's other games that shoot bugs, okay? And Helldivers is now better than Starship Troopers, at least in game form, right? And when they come out with a show of Helldivers, it could be better than Starship Troopers, okay? But just imagine if Starship Troopers was like, you're not allowed to shoot bugs. You're not allowed to be a military person shooting at bugs. We own the patent on that. That'd be insane. That'd be insane. Okay? Competition is great. So now we have two. We have Starship Troopers franchise. We have Helldivers franchise. But if Nintendo owned Helldivers, you better believe that they would not let any other company, or I should say, if Nintendo owned Starship Troopers, they would not let anybody else make anything that where you could shoot a gun at a bug. Right? Because obviously you can't throw a ball at an animal. You're not allowed to shoot bullets at a bug. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you like what I do here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. Do you think Nintendo is going to win this case against Palworld? And do you think it's BS that they keep changing stuff and adding stuff mid-case? Let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. What's going on, chat? All right, let's see what's going on. What's going on, Jason? Who else am I missing? Kylo, good morning. Dolphin, good morning. Travis says, crazy how I'm playing Shadows of War at still peak gaming. Clip says this is when they didn't sue Monster Hunter for doing it, maybe because Capcom has money. Yeah, but see, the money that they're suing him for is just so, it's minuscule. $66,000. Not $66 million, not $6.6 million, right? $66,000. Jason says, you got to sue them all. Yeah. What's going on, Kylo? Dolphin says, those bugs deserve rights. Jason says, the bugs are the good guys. Yeah, we're encroaching on their territory. I'm Toyota. How dare Honda make a truck to compete with me? I'm going to file a patent after the fact to sue them. Right. Nobody else can make a truck. Like, imagine that. Roic says, games take things from other games all the time. This is ridiculous. The ridiculous part is that they're filing the patent after the game came out, not before. They didn't file. Okay. Imagine. I want to open up a mini golf course. Okay? I want to open up a mini golf course, which I do. Okay? I open a mini golf course, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I'm going to patent golf clubs. I want to patent where my mini golf course is the only course that I can use a golf club to hit a ball into the hole. I'm going to patent that. After the fact, mini golf has been out for years. Other people have taken things and made mini golf courses, okay? But now I'm going to patent the ball getting hit by the club and the club moving towards the actual hole. I'm going to patent that whole thing. So now I'm going to go around and sue all other mini golf courses that have golf clubs. So I'm going to make them change. I'm going to make them change where you can't use a club. You got to use your foot, or you got to use a stick, or you got to use whatever else. It's idiotic. It's idiotic, man. Nintendo needs to be taught a lesson that they don't get their way with stupid shit like this. If they had the patent way ahead of time, sure. But they didn't. Travis says, I don't think people are looking at the big picture here. This isn't about the money. It's about the long as they can keep the active. Other devs will also be scared to do it. It looks like these guys see what's happening. I mean, that's what they said in the actual article. They're trying this as a scare tactic. Krebsy says Nintendo is winning this will hurt the industry, and they should lose. 100%, Krebsy. 100%. Dolphin says, I was talking to a coworker the other day, and he was complaining completely cool until said Toyotas were reliable, and he scoffed at me and walked away. He's had a bad experience with Toyota, huh? Kyle says this is like FromSoft suing Lies of P and Lords of the Fallen devs for making the Souls-like game. Yeah, it's idiotic. It shouldn't happen. The judge should look at this and just throw it out. Say, no, Nintendo. Stop it. Stop it, Nintendo. Just go make games, man. Go make games. Roic says that's a Blizzard suing GGG for making PoE because they still killing monsters with weapons and skills. You must use a pool cue to kick off course. Exactly. Krebsy says companies shouldn't be allowed to patent basic things in the majorly limit or may have also destroys creativity in the industry. Imagine if someone patent jumping or walking. Right. Sarge says they're trying to set a precedence. Yeah, the $66,000 suing is making the statement of, yeah, we're not doing it for the money. We're doing it for a lot more. Yeah, it's just so stupid. So stupid. All right, give me 1 second for a second. All right, give me like 2 minutes. I gotta hook up the hose again to my duck because the lawn care guy came and I didn't want him to destroy my hose. So I gotta go give the ducks some water. I'll be right back.
Just hit the scene, all the gamers hyped is the next big thing. AAA title or a quirky indie gem, what's the verdict? Oh, here we go again. Graphics are stunning but the story's a sin. Gameplay solid but it's just not fresh within. No matter how it shines or where it might land, IGN's got a score that we all understand. Graphics are stunning but the story's a sin. Gameplay solid but it's just not fresh within. No matter how it shines or where it might land, IGN's got a score that we all understand. 7 out of 10 is the favorite groove. No matter the game, that's our go-to move. Is it good? Is it bad? We'll never really know. 7 out of 10, it's the same old show. A sequel drops, it's polished and refined. Fans say it's great, but they won't change their mind. Too much water they cry or lacks innovation. 7's their home base, their default station. Best game ever or just okay, doesn't really matter, they'll grade it the same way. From space epics to farming sims, that 7's lurking, ready to begin. 7 out of 10 is their favorite groove. No matter the game, that's their go-to move. Is it good? Is it bad? We'll never really know. 7 out of 10, it's the same old show. What if it's a masterpiece? What if it's a flop? 7's like their GPS, they just won't stop. We laugh, we joke, but deep down we wait. Will our IGN surprises or is 7 our fate? Or is 7 our fate? Or is 7 our fate? 7 out of 10, it's a classic tune. From dawn till dusk, morning till the moon. It's a meme that won't die, they'll never really know. 7 out of 10, it'll never end. So here's to IGN, with their trusty pen, we'll always predict a 7 out of 10. Love it or hate it, they'll never bend. IGN forever, 7's their best friend.
Well, I booted up south of midnight, feeling fine. Got my spells, my sass, I'm ready to shine. Then boom!
All right, sorry about that. All right. Let me see where. Oh, why am I hearing myself twice? What is happening right now? All right, there we go. I was like, why am I hearing myself twice? Echo, 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 echo. Yeah, I know I have an echo. I don't know why it had an echo. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Roic says the judge should also laugh and say this is also dismissed and tell them to stop wasting everyone's time. Right? Everyone's time and money. It's so ridiculous what Nintendo's doing. It's a joke. It's a joke. But you know what? Keep doing it. Keep doing it. What's going on, Haley? Dolphin says, chat, if Amazon breaks my monitor again today, I might become Travis 2.0. What, did you order a monitor and they broke it in the delivery? What's going on, Mo? Mo's going through his Mo's not allowed to speak before he does all the copy pastes in the chat. He can't say anything except in order. It's a ritual. It's more like Mo gets up, brushes his teeth, and then starts to copy paste the stuff inside chat. Robert Jones says, I didn't know you had a South of Midnight song. What do you mean? It's not a South of Midnight song. It's a John Walker song talking about South of Midnight.
Boom, big beast, 20 arms, breathing fire. I died so much, my controller retired. I tried to roll, parry, and dash on cue. Game said, get good. I said, nah, I'm through. And right when I almost snapped and quit, I heard a whisper, a gospel hit. Skip the boss, John Walker said. Just walk on past, don't be misled.
Yeah, that's a John Walker song. That's not a South of Midnight song. It just so happened that he talked about South of Midnight and said, I wish I could skip the boss. Or, I'm sorry, because you can skip the boss in that. Mo says, I'm in the process of figuring out how to make homemade sausage. Well, you have to buy the casings. You got to buy the casings. And you need the grinder to put them in. Otherwise, you're going to have... Don't try to put them in. You're going to hate your life. Dolphin says, dude, I gave me my first ultra wide curve monitor, shattered as fuck. Oh, bro. That would have been so disappointing. You're so excited, you open it up, and you're like, what the? Oh, man. That sucks. That sucks. Dolphin says, I picture Mo on a horse strangling a PlayStation 5 with that song. All right, let's go to the second story. The second story is about ZeniMax QA testers. Okay. The second story is about ZeniMax QA testers face whiplash, okay, and work morale following Microsoft's gaming layoffs, but the union still fights. Okay. So you guys remember before they got unionized, and I said unions are good, but also unions are bad. And I said it doesn't really matter if you get a union because the corporations will figure a way so they don't have to use the union workers or they'll lose less workers. Okay. Now, I don't know what they're about to say in this article, but I've said in the past that Microsoft hires 18-month contract workers or people out of country because they don't have to give them salaries and benefits, and they also can't join the union, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. So if you come in and tell me that I have to have a certain percentage of people, I'm going to get rid of everybody else that want to be a part of that union and only keep a certain percentage of people that can make it into the union and keep it to the lowest point as possible. And then everybody else that I hire is going to be a contract worker or have a visa to come over and work, so I don't have to put them under salary and they don't have the rights to become a union. Okay? If you guys like what I do here, I do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So ZeniMax QA testers face whiplash, okay, for work morale following a Microsoft gaming layoffs. ZeniMax quality assurance workers fought for a contract with Microsoft for over 2 years, relaying from layoffs, and they're still here. Okay. With mere weeks, the quality assurance testers at Microsoft-owned ZeniMax Media are celebrating. ZeniMax Workers United, CWA, was first formed back in 2023. Okay, it was back in 2023. And after almost 2 years or nearly going on strike, the union ratified the contract with Microsoft, securing better pay, set of principles for how AI would also be used, and more. On Wednesday, July 2nd, Microsoft announced massive layoffs with cuts across Xbox division and encompassed numerous companies, including ZeniMax. It's unpended that the lives of many testers as ZeniMax workers united, who are feeling whiplash from now everything was unfolded. While the Communication of Workers of America, CWA, isn't sharing exact numbers, over 300 workers were part of ZeniMax Workers Union before the cuts. The team also has been impacted, with Windows Central confirming that some testers were cut. It says, studio-wide, we lost so many talented, wonderful workers, and seemingly no reason every single person that got laid off was someone that I trusted to get the job done. And people that also absolutely needed. This is what makes it rough. Okay, it says the mood and the morale at work is rancid, says one employee. People are very angry. People are frustrated, and vibes are off, to put it mildly. Okay. Paige Branson, senior QA tester who works on Elder Scrolls Online as part of the union's bargaining committee, tells me that the layoffs have taken a toll on the remaining team. It says, quote, emotionally, it was the worst working days I've ever had on any job. I've also been that and seen it was going on in real time, she says. Studio-wide, we lost so many talented, wonderful workers. There seems to be no reason every single person that got laid off was someone that I trusted to get the job done. People that were also absolutely needed, and that was also to make it makes it rough. The CWA is doing what it can at the moment to providing support for workers who were laid off, and also those of you that still ZeniMax are now feeling the loss of their many team members. It says, quote, this is very reassuring that the CWA is fighting for the people that got laid off in whatever ways they can, Branson adds. Again, the unions are great and also not very good. Again, they'll work. You pay your dues. You're paying towards it. You know, it's like a benefit type of thing. You get really good benefits and stuff. At least I did when I was in the local 600. Okay. Yeah, you know, but they just started. There's not like a big pension going on behind the scenes there. Almost 2 years of fighting for a contract. ZeniMax Workers United, CWA, bargaining for almost 2 years before the contract of Microsoft in June. The contract, which is also first of its kind, is described as Branson as the grassroots effort and one involved compromises of all sides. Okay, he says, quote, I think from what we started and where we ended up, we landed in a really good place. It's a great jumping off point of what happens after, she explains. One of the main sticking points during the negotiations was the nature of the remote work and whether or not the testers could also be allowed to work, adding, while they also union accepted a hybrid working policy. It's something that the bargaining unit's also keeping an eye on for future contracts. Okay, and again, if they do this, right, they'll be like, oh, well, you can become part of the union. And then they're like, well, you have to have a certain percent of your workers that are allowed to do this, but everybody else won't be allowed to do it. You know what I'm saying? They get around shit all the time because corporations, well, they win, right? Speaking before layoffs, ZeniMax QA contractor Jesse Lee tells Windows Central that the contractor wages were raised very early on during the bargaining process with significant jumps for testers that are also previously not paid enough to account for basic cost of living increase. So they got a raise, and now they got fired. It's nice, right? Historically, ZeniMax Media hires all testers on contract basis, with skilled workers who do a good job, theoretically being made more permanent offers. In practice, there's also sometimes a lack of clarity around when it would also, if it would also happen. That sometimes is a contract helps to clarify. So this is just like I said yesterday in a little example I did where, like, playing sports, there's like thousands of people. They all get to play the game, and then it gets lower and lower and lower until you become like the professional, right? Well, ZeniMax probably hires, let's say, for the summer, EA used to do this, they would hire a bunch of QA testers for their games, and then let's say they hire like 50 to 100 testers. 100 testers, and you're all competing. You're all playing the game. You're all trying to do your stuff. Some are inspiring game developers. Some just want to do a job. Some are just doing it for whatever, and then they start to weed them out. They start to weed them out, and only 5 out of the 100 will get a full-time job or get a more permanent job, I should say. Doesn't mean that you're going to get a permanent job for the rest of your life and you can retire and whatnot. It just means that you had the opportunity to go from the bullpen, as I called it, to getting into the game, right? You make your own way based on what your performance is and whatnot. Okay, so now the contracts provides guidelines, meaning management has to be clearer about exactly how long the contract employee can expect to work for, as well as what the process of potentially being converted to full-time will look like. So all they have to do here, okay, this happened all the time with production work. I would work in the on a television show. They would tell me, oh, we're doing 6 episodes. It's going to take about 6 weeks, about 1 week an episode. At the end of that, we have the contract with you that we can keep you on for the next 2 projects. But those 2 projects are in the works right now. And you're like, okay, now you don't know when that project's going to happen. So then what happens is they stop doing production. The first show's done. Now I'm off. Now I'm basically fired, right? Because there's no productions going on. And they're like, oh, well, the next 2 productions. Well, the next production's 8 months down the road. Well, I need to work. So then I get another job. Well, because I get another job, I now break that contract because the next job that they're doing is 8 months down the road. I could potentially get it, but I could be double booked. And they kind of like screw you out that way, right? Because now it's not on them, it's on you. Even though, oh, well, once you do this, you have an option to get on to the next 2 projects. Oh, cool. It sounds exciting. Okay. Other hot topic issues secure the contract, including guiding principles around outsourcing and using AI systems, while the union is also seeking to eliminate either from being used or team fought to ensure that Microsoft is not allowed to replace the internal job with the outsourced worker or an AI tool. So this is basically what we just said, right? So as long as I'm an employee, right? So now I'm a contract worker. I get paid more to be a contract worker because they don't have to pay me my benefits and stuff like that. But now if I took the job, now they want me to be in the office, then I would take a pay cut. I would take a pay cut because now I'm not contract. Now I'm taking less. I'm getting benefits maybe because you have to work there a certain period of time before you get the benefits and whatnot. And now they're trying to, at least in the video game space, they're trying to ensure not allowed to replace the internal job with an outsourced worker. So now there's 2 different things. Now there's a person that's taking the internal job, and there's a person the outsourced job. And the out person can't take this internal job. They have to take someone else and bring him and hire him in. So the union also fought to better crediting policy of ZeniMax Media is now responsible for holding an online record to ensure that anyone contributing to the game is properly credited. This is another thing that always happened in the movie industry. You would get not in the credits. There's a ton of movies I worked on I didn't get in the credits because the person that they're hiring to do the credits is a PA and doesn't do it correctly, or they put the wrong name in, or there's a bunch of different things that happens, right? It says, quote, you can make good products and you can make good art, but when you're terrified that you could also lose your job at any moment. I mean, I get it. But at the same time, you should do your work regardless if you're going to, like, don't think about you losing your job. Just think about doing the job. Does that make sense? Like, I get it. Everyone needs a job to pay for the bills, pay for their family, support their family. But if you're making a good product, right? It says if you're making a good product, you can make a good art, but you're also terrified of losing your job at any moment. Just do the best that you're doing. You can't help. You can't control what you can't control. You know what I'm saying? So control what you can control. And if you can control about doing the best work you can, your likelihood of getting fired is less than the other person next to you. Does that make sense? So a lot of challenges with the also contract were due to the fact that they're also writing things from scratch. Lees explains that adding the one issue where they figured out it made things easier for other gaming teams that are bargaining for the first contract. Lees and others also stated that the contract with organizers are also author unionizing workers under Microsoft's gaming division, such as a Blizzard, Albany, and also World of Warcraft team. All the work also was hard fought, making the sudden impact of layoffs even more devastating. It says, quote, you can't make good products, you can't make good art when you're terrified that you could also lose your job at any moment, Branson says. I want empathy for people right now to understand that the human cost of a decision like this, I mean, I totally understand. There's never a day where it's good to fire somebody. There's never a day, except for maybe the person that was doing something malicious at your work. And you're like, oh, thank God he's gone. Thank God they fired him or her, right? It's never, no one's sitting here going, good, lose your job. No, I look at it as Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. All jobs, there's no such thing as a forever job. No such thing as forever job. Even if you own your own business, you could be successful today, successful 3 years from now, and then 5 years from now, your business is closed. Okay? You're never able to say, I'm perfect. It's going to be like this forever. No, you have to do it while it's there. Enjoy what you have now. Okay? If now is 10 years and 15 years, fantastic. Enjoy it. So what happens now? At the time of writing this, the CWA is still negotiating a large number of unionized employees at ZeniMax Online Studios, whose roles are at risk after the team's project, codenamed Blackbird, was also canceled, mere months after Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer reportedly couldn't stop playing it. Yeah, but Phil Spencer, just because he liked it doesn't mean it's like, oh, it's good. Right? He couldn't put the controller down. He's also likes games. Right? I couldn't put the controller down. I played Marvel's Avengers for 1,100 hours. Doesn't mean it's best game ever. Because these employees are also unionized, but have not yet had a specific contract, they're keeping their jobs until the exact details of a severance are agreed upon by Microsoft lawyers and CWA. Many of them may still end up being laid off. But if it's layered protection of simply wouldn't be present if they didn't have unionized. Now, I just said that, right? I said that so they have a contract and they're like, oh, maybe you're set up for the next one. Well, the next one's not happening for a while. So we're gonna let you go and you're gonna get pay for the next 6 months, but make sure you go to the union office and make sure you fill out this paperwork, do this thing, and then you'll be eligible for this. It's gonna be really hard for them in the beginning because they just started it. There's not much there, right? Because you need a lot more unionized people to pay in. I don't know if they're paying. In my union, you paid, and there was a certain amount of members that paid, and then there was a nice pool of money there. So when people weren't working, the union was like, hey, here you go. Let's help you out for a bit. We'll see what happens there. Being in a union isn't some silver bullet that's always lets the shields against layoffs, but Branson and the others have spoken with. They're also necessary now than ever in order to have every bit of protection possible. Sure, 100%. 100%. But it's also, a lot of people think that the union's going to save them all. They think it's armor. It's not armor. It's just another buffer, okay? Because, again, if the company says that you have to hire a percentage, they won't tell you that you have to hire 300 people. They'll just say a percentage. A percentage of workers per project have to be union, okay? Well, that could be the director, the manager, whatever. All the little bees and worker bees don't have to be part of the union, or a certain amount of them only have to be a part of the union. You could submit them, but then you can fire them as well because now it's over the amount of union workers that you have on your project, and you don't want to do that, okay? Just in case something happens and you have to pay everybody out, okay? Contract workers, you just pay for the contract. That's it. You just pay for the contract. When that's over, you just cut the contract. For those that have not yet unionized under Microsoft or North America gaming companies, they're encouraged to sign up for Union Video Game Works CWA. It's not clear what exactly ZeniMax Workers United CWA, but the union isn't going to stop fighting. Organizing and unionizing is going to be the best way for video game workers that can protect themselves, Branson said, and they should do that as soon as possible. Well, let me tell you another thing. In the movie industry space, okay, to get up to the upper echelon of being in motion pictures, because you can't work on a motion picture, okay, in the top tier things unless you're a part of the union. Well, there's a lot of independent movies being made. There's a lot of independent projects being made. And sometimes they get big name actors for the independent project, and the only two people that are union, or three people that are union, is usually the director and the actor that they hire. So if I get, let's say, Tom Cruise to be in my independent film, right? He's doing it for a favor or whatever. Union, I have to follow union rules, okay? But independent projects, little studio films, they don't have union workers. There's a lot more non-union stuff happening than there is union stuff happening, okay? And when you're independent studios, see, the union works for the bigger companies, but they're not going to work for, let's say, I just open up a company, 30 NSG Studios. I can't afford, right? I can't afford union workers. The union workers are going to cost me more money. I'm barely getting by. I might have 5 people on my team, and we're all just scraping by. There's no union workers there. Okay? Well, guess what happens? Guess what happens? Microsoft then, or Sony or Ubisoft, doesn't take their studio to make the thing because they have to put union workers on there. So what do? They just pay the money out, outsource it to somebody else. They make the game. No union workers needed. They're a small studio. They deal what they have to do, and you get the end product. That's how it happens. That's what studios do right now. They don't pay for the product. They wait for the product to be done. Then they approach the studio and go, hey, we'll publish your stuff. They didn't have to pay for the union. They didn't have to pay for any of that stuff. But again, the video game industry is just getting started with the unions, and we'll see what happens with it. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Roic says, this is like people are way more productive right before they go on vacation since people want to clear the rest. But if you just did it all the time, you would have to worry about what you're doing about that to begin with. Travis says, losing your job sucks, but if you're not afraid of losing it, but you really want to be there. Phil's playing games is a myth. I think he plays games all the time. I think that's part of his job, really, right? Where I worked before, there was also a union workers who were doing nothing half of the time, and they're contractors who moved the company. Right. 100%. Because, like, this also goes into people, younger workers compared to older workers. Okay? I've told this story before. My very first job, not union, right? My very first job after being in front of the camera, okay, Steve Buscemi was a director on the project I was working on. It was a show called Baseball Wives. And he gave me my first opportunity. He said, I can get you a gig. And he gave me an opportunity to work in a music video. Made a phone call, and I worked on a music video for Wyclef Jean down in Miami and South Beach. I forget what song it was. Okay? So my very first gig in the industry was I was in South Beach. Okay? I was working as a grip, which is a person that just grabs gear from one to the next, working in the electric department, right? Holding lights and whatnot. Now, there's 1,000 extras on the beach in South Beach during this music video, right? So there's beautiful women everywhere, right? A lot of good-looking people. They're dancing on the beach. Wyclef is singing and stuff. And the guy that I'm working with is in the industry, I don't know, maybe he's my age now. I was 19. He's probably in his 40s. Probably been in the industry for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it was. He was miserable. Union worker, getting paid $500 a day or whatever it was, okay? He was bitching the entire time. It's too hot. I don't want to be here. This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, young Mike here, 30 NSG, 19 years old. I'm on the beach looking at hot people. Not because they're sweating, just because they're gorgeous on South Beach. And I'm holding a light. Just holding a light. Just sitting here, making sure the wind doesn't blow it off. I'm in the sand. I'm like, I'm getting paid $200. I think it was $200 or $250 at the time. Just contract. Just standing there. I'm like, this is the greatest job ever. Right? You see the difference in the mindset? I'm brand new. I think it's the greatest job in the world. Dude's been in the industry for 25, 30 years. He's hating every second of it. He's like, this is bullshit. I want to be in air conditioning. What time's break? Are we going overtime? Right? That is the difference between people that have been in the industry and skewed, people that are in the industry and part of the union, because they're getting paid regardless. Okay? I get a flat rate. He gets overtime. Right? This happens across the board in all companies. The people that have been there for 5, 10 years, they feel like they're untouchable. Right? It's what it is. So, look, I understand it. I understand it. Union is good for the people. Not all the time, Dolphin. Not all the time. It's very situational for things. Sometimes it's great. Like when they went on strike, I was still, you know, they fought for us because people were taking advantage. But then it's also I can't take jobs. Because I'm in the union, I still have to feed my family, and I can't feed my family because I'm on strike. So what am I supposed to do? Okay, give me a second. Dolphin says they didn't even show up for 3 days one time because they were on strike. Yeah, we didn't get to profit because they were petty. Yeah, Phil plays video games. That's what he's supposed to do. Ron Slusher says, "Can Nintendo patent unions?" Yeah. Dolphin says, "First time hearing this. That's fucking is awesome." Not true, Mo. He's still trying to figure out how a fire works. Robert Jones says Thor is about to grip something else. Did I miss something else that you said, Dolphin? Okay, there it is. Travis says unions is never good for the people. Again, Uncle was in the union foreman. He also explained how it's a scam. It's also need to know. I don't want to say it's a scam either. Again, it varies for different people, for different things, right? Lots of unions do good things. Other unions kind of could be scams or whatnot. All right, real quick, I'm going to take another quick break because my son wants breakfast. He got up, and I need to make him his breakfast. So I'll be back in less than 2-3 minutes.
Blizzard used to be the king of the fight. Heroes in the spotlight, everything was tight. Overwatch came in, took the crown. Now the game's looking kinda run down. Sequel dropped, but it lost the spark. PvE dreams got left in the dark. Now a new crew's knocking at the door. Marvel's here and they're ready for war. Blizzard, you got a rival. Heroes falling, it's all survival. Marvel's knocking games on trial. Can you keep up or fade in denial? Captain America's shields on deck. Hulk's in the fight. Who's breaking next? Storm's bringing thunder. Doom's got tech. While Overwatch is looking kinda wrecked. Tracer's blinking but she can't escape. New game hype. Got 'em raising the stakes. Blizzard's trying to hold on tight. But Marvel's got that next-gen fight. Oh, it's a battle now. Can the old guard hold the crown? Or will Marvel take the throne? Blizzard's world just overthrown. Blizzard, you got a rival. Heroes falling, it's all survival. Marvel's coming, breaking cycles. Can you keep up or fade in denial? You got a rival. Heroes falling, it's all survival. Marvel's coming, breaking cycles. Can you keep up or fade in denial? Shields on deck, Hulk's in the fight. Who's breaking next? Storm's bringing thunder. Doom's got tech. While Overwatch is looking kinda wrecked. Tracer's blinking but she can't escape. New game hype, got 'em raising the stakes. Blizzard's trying to hold on tight. But Marvel's got that next-gen fight. Oh, it's a battle now. Can the old guard hold the crown? Or will Marvel take the throne? Blizzard's world just overthrown. Blizzard
All right. Must have been 2 minutes. Must be a toastal strudel. No, it's a frozen pancakes. It's frozen pancakes. 35 on one side, 40 on the other. Get some fruit in there. Yeah. That's it. It's a quick breakfast. Robert Jones says, I'm in an industry, unions overall benefit. Yeah, I don't want to say that unions are bad. They can be bad. It all depends on what they're doing for you individually, right? Ray says, unions should works on cleaning and health primarily. Bacon's always only real breakfast. We have really good bacon here. We got thick cut bacon. Nope, not frozen waffles. Pancakes. We went through this yesterday, Jones. We know what a pancake is and a waffle. It's definitely a pancake. Definitely a pancake. Ron says breakfast rabbit hole incoming. That's it. All right, next one we're going to watch a video. Bueller News talking about AAA wants you afraid. Stop killing games has them sweating. Okay. So let's watch this. Description I should say link in the description for Bueller News. So this is about the Stop Killing Games thing that's going on over in Europe, which can affect us, obviously. But I'll be honest, do you want the quickest way for this to work? It's real simple, right? Because if you want stuff to happen fast, then it can't go through Parliament. It can't go through the government. Okay? It can't go through that stuff. Because though beneficial and things will get done in the long run, right? Because this could take like 2 years to go through. If it does go through at all, okay? Now, loot boxes. Remember when EA went to court for loot boxes? That changed for the better for us, but they got rid of loot boxes. They just got rid of loot boxes, basically, in almost all video games. Well, that wasn't because it went to court. That's because people, us, the customers, were like, yeah, we're done with this. We're done with this. We're not doing loot boxes anymore, right? So if you don't want to support games that are not going to be supported anymore, then don't buy those games. That's how easy it is. If you stop supporting the things that they're taking away from us, they'll stop making those things, right? So now the two sides of the coin are, well, if like, for instance, let's say they make the greatest Transformers game in the world, but the Transformers game is also the most monetized, scummy practice, and I'm like, oh man, I really love Transformers, but I really hate what they're doing. Well, guess what? As a customer, I go, I love Transformers, but this is shitty practices. So guess what? I gotta stop. I gotta stop buying this Transformers. I gotta stop playing this Transformers game if I want this to change. This has to fail, so other things succeed in the past, right? You have to prune a tree for the tree to grow better. If you just let it just overgrow, it's not gonna be healthy. So you gotta prune it. You gotta prune it to get it better. Right? That's what we have to do as customers in the video game space. Okay? You got to stop supporting things that you hate, but you're addicted to it. You're like, well, I really love this, so I'm going to play it, but I don't really like this. But if you don't like this, then you have to stop doing this. All right, let's watch this video.
So the games industry kind of just told 1.25 million of you to get lost. And that's because as the EU petition crossed that threshold, Video Games Europe issued their response to stop destroying games. And it's quite fun. Now, you may not know who this group are, but you probably know who the ESA are. That's the US games industry body. They've been involved in all sorts of fun things like crushing game preservation efforts. Anyway, Video Games Europe is essentially the EU version of that. And their message...
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Ray. But the problem is, Ray says the problem, 30, is corporates will misunderstanding us and think that we don't want Transformers games. 100%. If you have a kid, right? If you have a kid, anyone that has a kid understands this, okay? You're like, hey, don't touch that. What do? They touch it, right? Don't open that door. What do? They open the door. They don't listen, right? They don't listen because all they hear is they take the don't out and just do the thing. You're like, don't touch that door. They open the door. You're like, I told you not to open the door. Well, that's the corporations. Corporations are like, we don't want that. They're like, oh, they don't want Transformers. So let's make another game and put microtransactions in it. No, we don't like the microtransaction. We don't want microtransactions. Got it. Microtransactions it is. They don't like Marvel. It's like, no. We want Marvel. We want Transformers. We want Star Wars. We just don't want this part. I don't know. Sounds like you guys don't want it. That, right? They try to throw it back on us. You guys are the problem that Star Wars isn't made. No, you're the problem because you can't make a good Star Wars. You're the problem because you can't make a good Marvel.
It's just fairly simple that if this all succeeds and goes through, that online games would become prohibitively expensive to develop, that developers might abandon Europe entirely, and that it would force the likes of private servers, which could be sketchy, which could steal your data and lead to scams. And if that sounds familiar to you,
don't you love that? Well, if we make private servers, we're protecting you. We're protecting you because people could steal your stuff. Yeah. Hey, you would rather steal our stuff and then sell it to other people. I got it.
I wouldn't really be surprised. I mean, this is basically the same playbook that gets wheeled out every time there's some sort of like consumer body that's demanding some change. It's essentially worst case scenarios, fear tactics, corporate panic, all that fun stuff. Now, if you skim the news, you know the data stories hit us every week. Like, say, when British Telecom had a breach that exposed loads of my family. That was cool, and it's why I love today's sponsor, Incogni, who actually just got even better. So,
it makes you wonder. This is where my brain goes with companies like this, right? Now, obviously, this is a sponsored part of his thing, right? Make the problem, sell the solution. Okay. Now, I don't know if Incogni is part of the bigger umbrella of stuff, but if I wanted people to buy my thing, right, the corporation would be like, hey, let's steal people's information. Hey, let's sell them the thing that stops people from stealing their information. What about if this is also selling your information by taking the things that off of it and then selling it to other? You see what I'm saying? You can't really trust anything. I'm not saying that Incogni is doing this. What I'm saying is we thought the things before were okay, right? And we have a video to watch after this talking about people, hackers and stuff like that. So it's just a little weird. I don't know.
core service already scrubs your data from more than 250 broker sites and keeps it down with continuous suppression sweeps. But the new unlimited plan adds a feature called custom removals. Here's how it works. You spot
custom removals. Ooh.
Your details anywhere online. You paste the URL into your Incogni dashboard, and their privacy team files the legal takedown. And then, in about 45 days, that page is gone. There are no limits and submissions for this feature. You can just keep on feeding links until
you could just keep on paying a monthly subscription to protect your information that they were stealing anyway.
Your search results.
Now, instead of not paying for your information to get stolen, you can pay and still have your information stolen, but feel like you're protected.
Are nice and spotless the way that you want them. And I just think of this as like routine maintenance for my digital life. And if you want that same peace of mind, head to incogni.com.
I have Windows, guys. Windows, not the operating system, like physical Windows on my house. No one can break in. Nobody can get in my house. I have windows. I have doors. I have locks.
.com/BellyNews. You'll get 60% off the annual unlimited plan. Gives you a nice clean slate, keeps you secured.
60% off. That's a big percentage off.
And that's why I highly recommend them. Here's the thing today. We can't just go purely full-on us versus them. For Harmony, what we need is balance. Balance between players, devs, and publishers. If any one gets too powerful, then the others, of course, suffer. And we get evidence of this all the time within game.
Hold on, what did you say there?
Here's the thing today. We can't just go purely full-on us versus them.
Yes, you could. Yes, you can. 100%. 100% could be us versus them. Because without us, there is no them. See what I was just saying before? Right? I love Transformers, but I hate microtransactions. If microtransactions were in the Transformers game, and I'm like, oh, God, I really love playing this game, but I hate this thing, well, something has to change. They're not going to change. So I, the player, decide to not play their game. And guess what? It fails. It fails. Transformers goes bye-bye. It fails. And then there's no Transformers game, which is one less game. And then when the next game comes out, we don't play that either. And then they go, wait a minute. We have all these workers that are making these games for the people, but they don't want to play it. They must hate this brand. No, we hate the thing that you're doing with the brand, right? We hate that.
Here's the thing today. We can't just go purely full-on us versus them. For harmony, what we need is balance. Balance between players, devs, and publishers. If any one gets too powerful, then the others, of course, suffer. And we get evidence of this all the time within games. For just one example of that,
this is a business. It's not about suffering. Make a game, sell a game. Make a game, sell a game. Make a product, sell the product, person buys product. End of transaction. End of transaction. Right? Make something, sell something, I buy that from you, end of transaction, done.
balance.
That's not what they want. They want their hands in that thing the entire time.
Take a look at what Microsoft recently did. They essentially pulled a whole bunch of their contracts with third-party game developers, right? And from what we understand, purely this is because of them making strategic changes.
That's not us, though. That's not because of us. That's because they wanted to make more money. They wanted to make their books look like they were bigger.
Now, there was no clause in those contracts to protect those developers, meaning that some are now at risk of closure. My point essentially being the power imbalance is so bad that...
That's not my problem. As a person that buys video games, it's not my problem if a studio opens or closes or what they do with the contract they have with other corporations. They're making their money. They're either paying the money up front, getting their money on the back end. Either way, if I open a store, if I open up a gas station, if I open up a bakery, if I open up something else, you got to make a business. You got to make a product to get the customers in your door.
Even a big contract like that does not have protections for a no-fault termination for a development studio. That's one example of the imbalance, and for many people, the whole point of Stop Killing Games is essentially that same imbalance again. Devs get screwed, consumers get screwed, and in so many cases, the ESA and Video Games Europe, at their worst, are just pushing for more power to the larger interests, to the larger publishers, the ones that I think everyone would argue do have too much power relative to everyone else, right?
Well, of course they do. You know, I don't want to get political, but you kind of have to, right? Politicians think they have a lot of power. They do. Why? Because we give them that power, right? They get power hungry, and they think they can do whatever they want. That's not how it works in America, right? You vote, you speak up, you say something. Okay, you make it what it is. This goes with any business also, right? The business says, hey, I want to pay $1,000 for this thing. We go, no, I'm good. I don't want to pay that. Some people pay it and they go, oh, well, we made this much money off 20% of the people, right? The other people, other 80% are like, no, I'm not buying that. And they go, oh, well, we have to put that on discount. We got to put that on sale. We got to lower the budget. No, it's your problem. We put $250 million video game. It only sold 1 million copies. Right? We made a $400 million video game. It only sold 4 million copies. That's on you. Not on us. That's on you.
Right now. I don't want these publishers to go bust, but I do want balance. And that's why I'm keen to see this movement through, to see where it goes. And it's why today's video exists, because now that there's been so much buzz, it's actually time to talk about what happens next. Because the real fight hasn't even started. Let's hit the two things that Video Games Europe dropped, which basically are a statement and a policy paper. They kind of cover the same thing. And what they basically do, right, is restate current law. Essentially, that being that games are licenses. You don't own them. It's just a license, and that...
Right. It's just a license. You don't own it. And pirating isn't stealing.
Even does include a physical copy of a game. Now they say that's both why they can patch games, update them, do all that good stuff, and also why services can be ended.
Dolphin says, as an American, I think it's weird how shit always goes by what happens in America. It's not weird. That's because not individuals, but countries want what we have, which is money. Hence why they try to move here, be a part of here, want us to be a part of something because we have money.
Under current consumer law, because it's just a license to access a service, not a thing that you own. Now, their core argument about why changing that would be really bad is essentially cost. Basically, they're saying the compliance with the sorts of rules that I guess a maximalist interpretation.
Why providing continuous support do not work for all games. Imposing a legal obligation to continue server support indefinitely or to develop online video games in a specific technology manner that will also allow permanent use will raise the cost and risk of developing such games. It will have a chilling effect on game design and the act of disincentives to making such games available in Europe. So, because the company is making billions of dollars and they want to keep making billions of dollars, they can't make hundreds of millions of dollars. They have to make billions of dollars. They can't do it because it costs too much. Even though they have a market there, they were like, nah, we'd rather not make it at all because it would cost us too much and our margins would be smaller. It's basically what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying, right? Will have a chilling effect on game design and the act, all right, to disincentivize what's making such games available in Europe. They're like, well, we're going to make hundreds of million dollars, not billions of dollars, so we can't put it there because we're not making $1 billion.
Of Stop Killing Games would want that would make making online games prohibitively expensive, which would essentially mean less of those get made. They say it would curtail dev choice, right, in terms of genre type of game, and maybe even cause some devs to choose to avoid Europe entirely, because they'd essentially have to work out, do we go into Europe and then take all of these other hits in every other market? This is basically saying they may not do that, and if you're in Europe, you won't get a bunch of games. But of course, they also warn about the private servers, basically saying that
private servers are not always a viable alternative option for players as a protection. We put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combine unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable. I think I have a song about this. Right? I think I have a song about this. Where is it? Oh, I'm sorry. It's in the wrong thing. Oh, I can't find it. Where's my Sony got hacked again? Oh, here it is. Right, they're there for your protection.
It was just a quiet night, I was feeling fine. Booted up my PlayStation, about to get online. Then I saw the error like a ghost in the night. PSN was down, man, this ain't right. Check my phone, Twitter's on fire. Sony says don't worry, we're working on the wires. 20 hours later, what do we get? 5 free days, man, that's some bullshit. Oh no, Sony got hacked again. Servers are down and they don't know when. Every time we trust, they break it again. Maybe I should just switch to LAN. Oh no, Sony got hacked again. Servers are down.
So tell me again, private servers are not always viable alternative option players or protection. We put in place secure player data. Yeah, not picking on Sony. All these companies get hacked. Every single one. Didn't we just change our passwords and stuff because there was a huge breach in Google? Get the fuck out of here.
Bad actors can exploit them to steal your data and to harm company reps, all of that stuff. So to hyper TLDR their view, either companies half go bankrupt trying to comply, or they just skip out Europe entirely, and we just end up with a bunch of scammer-run servers. Spooky stuff. And again, it's...
Is it, though? Is it spooky stuff? Star Wars Galaxies right now is being run on private servers. It's on private servers. The community's fine.
all sorts of things that we've heard before of worst case interpretations of what this initiative could demand. And that's exactly the point of this video. That Video Games Europe is talking this way is no big conspiracy. It really shouldn't be surprising, because they're a group that exists to prevent worst case scenarios. That's why they're outlining a whole bunch of worst case scenarios. Now, their board has got EA people, it's got Ubisoft people, but they also do represent every European developer through the various different trade associations that exist. And they do speak to a few wider concerns, things like the EU meddling in product priorities for eco-design, or whether esports should even be recognized as a sport, right? All of that stuff where basically they don't really want the EU to weigh in, because change that they can't control that much is obviously scary. So to them, the status quo is absolutely better. And they'll probably be more spooked about this because they can just look at how effective the EU have been against Apple and against Google. But of course, with the petition hitting its threshold in
It's got 1.2 million signatures now? I thought it was 1.3.
the EU, they kind of had to respond. And of course now, in the UK, that petition has also went past its threshold. And that means it's time to talk about the UK and the EU and what it all means for you. We'll hit the UK first. So the UK petition is actually further along than the EU's one, where it's actually got a government response twice. Now, we had a general election a little while ago that did interrupt the first campaign, but we did get this initial response. It was clear, but definitely unhelpful.
This video is at least 1 week old. It's 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Where it essentially said that existing consumer laws should already protect buyers in a case where it's unclear if a service can or can't be revoked. And that essentially meant, okay, the law covers it. We don't need to make new laws. What's changed, though, is the signature threshold, because now it's going to be considered for a parliamentary debate. And there's actually even a countdown on the website of how
Nothing affects us more than people that are in a parliament that don't know anything about what we're asking for. These are the people that are fighting for you. People that don't understand. Old people that don't play video games. They don't understand anything, yet they're the ones fighting for you. Should go over well.
how many days there are until we get a debate date. Now, luckily for you, I'm one of the few people who kind of finds watching Parliament riveting, so I'll watch it when the time comes. But here's an example of how this sort of thing could work, right? Another real-world example. This is a farm animal care petition. It was launched in January, passed in April, debated in June, which is really, really quick.
Old politicians treat video games like we treat old politicians. Does that make sense? So hear me out, right? So when we start, as a young person, if you start talking about politics, you're like, ugh, so boring. When old people start talking about technology, for young people, they're like, oh, God, can we move on to the next thing? They don't care.
Why was it so quick, and can we expect similar for Stop Killing Games? Well, basically, in this case, it actually touched existing legislative topics, and also Joanna Lumley was involved. If you're in the States, you may not know, basically, she's a UK celebrity. She's got a long history supporting similar things. It's a topic that cut through to the general public, so obviously, yeah, they were able to talk about it. But here's the thing. Whenever you hear parliamentary debate, you're probably thinking about, the green benches, the Chamber of Parliament.
I hear say that we need to ban the old games. Hear, hear.
All the MPs gathered. No, it's not that. It was just a single committee meeting. That's how these things can actually happen, where some
All stand. Who's for this? Nay.
interested stakeholders attend, a relevant minister shows up, the government's position then goes on record. But in that case, no new legislation emerged.
So we went to, where the fuck were we? We were in, I forget what state we were in. Was it Tennessee? We went to the state capitol, right, to show the kids. And when we went to the state capitol, there was actually a hearing going on. Okay, so there's a hearing going on while we were there. And they were talking about like neighborhoods and like roads and like garages they were building and driveways. And I sat there for 4 minutes and I was like, huh? Right? It's affecting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people because they're building new homes and whatever else was going on. I don't know. I'm not from there. Right? But I was just like, holy Christ. And it was such a slow, drawn-out process of, this is what it is. This is what's going to happen. And it was just like, holy shit, there's got to be a better way to do this. Got to be a better way to do this. There's no way that any of this stuff's going to happen. And if it does, it's going to happen like a snail mail, because then it has to go through that process, and it has to go through another process, goes up to a higher thing, then they vote on that. And then, even if it gets passed, they don't have to follow it.
All that happened was promises of future consideration. That was basically it. It was a little bit of a nothing burger. Now, that is an example of a fast petition that had cultural support. Now, currently, 11 petitions await debate. One of them has been...
Look at this. Allow parents to take their children out of school for up to 10 days fine-free. That's a bill. 181,000 signatures, waiting for 120 days. End the badger cult, adopt other approaches, okay? Keep 5-year-old ILR pathway for exiting skilled worker visa holders. Stop financial and other support asylum seekers, right? Like, look at these things that are there.
Been waiting for 115
Retain legal rights to assessment of support of education of children with SEND.
15 days. You might be wondering,
we got how much time?
Petitions await debate. One of them has been waiting for 115 days.
Review possibilities of penalties for social media posts, include use of prison. Okay? Waiting 18 more days, 181,000 signatures. You gotta wait. The guy at the top here, Northern Ireland veterans from precaution, right? Waiting 48 days. Right? This one's got allow parents to take their children out of school. Gotta wait 120 days.
Currently, 11
this shit's not gonna happen fast, man.
Petitions await debate. One of them has been waiting for 115 days. You might be wondering why. That's basically things like research, maybe a dash of yes, minister to slow.
Parliament will consider these for debate. Consider it for debate. Parliament considers all petitions to get more than 100,000 signatures for debate. Waiting for 120 days for debate date. Government responded. We're determined to break down the barriers of opportunity supporting every child to achieve a thrive in school, working parents, and protecting children's rights to education. Right? Then they stand up. They wait 120 days. They stand up. Someone talks for 3 minutes, and they're like, "Hear, nay," and then they're like, "Okay, moving on."
Slow it all down. But basically, civil servants compiling reports on the petition, the stakeholders, industry context, that all takes time. But further than that, debates can be deflected. As an example, if a related topic comes up first, then the petition can get referred to that record. That could lead to a delay, but I know what will, and that is Parliament entering recess through July. And that basically means we won't hear anything solid until autumn at the earliest, which in a way may be a good thing. You see, the EU has got stricter timelines, and if the EU happens to go faster than their timelines, then we may get more information before the UK stuff goes down, and that could then inform the UK's approach. Okay, look, I can't be Margot Robbie in a bathtub, but we do have to explain this, so just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. So, here's how a
at least put her on the screen in a bathtub, you know what I mean?
European Citizens Initiative, which is what Stop Destroying Games is, can actually work. So, when signature collection ends, the Stop Killing Games movement will have 3 months to send responses to the relevant national authorities. Those bodies then get 3 months to verify the signatures, basically confirming to...
What happened? What happened? Step 3, get support. You need to get support of at least 1 million EU citizens. Okay, cool.
Totals for all the different regions. Thrilling stuff. Then, after that happens, Stop Killing Games has got 3 months to send everything over to the EU. And then if, after all of that, it still has over 1 million verified signatures, well, then the real work begins. And adding all that up, it means that in the worst case, it will be 9 months until the EU basically has everything.
You can have a kid in the time it's going to take this, once it goes through, to get to the point where they actually go, okay, now it goes in the line.
But could be faster than that. Now, within 1 month of them having everything, they will then invite organizers to outline concerns. Within 3 months, there'll be a public hearing, and during the wait, there'll be loads of research, loads of stakeholder consultation, and all that fun stuff. And from there, there's a few ways it could go. So initially, it would stay with the commission, but what's actually possible is a full MEP chamber debate. That's possible, perhaps not likely here, but it could happen. Anyway, within 6 months...
I'm sure he's very excited. I'm sure he's very excited to see Parliament talk about this.
A formal response arrives, and that response explains any actions, rationale, and it gives a timeline. Though there is a bit of a backstop rule where if it's up to 15 months after the thing passed, then a response is guaranteed. But what's not guaranteed is change. So
So we have until either 10 months or 15 months to wait. So right now, let's say it happens in October. We're not seeing it till 2027. 2027. So until that time, thousands and thousands of other games will come out. Thousands and thousands of other games will be getting killed off until this gets through. And even when and if it gets to the point, they can just not do it.
This is where the Commission actually has got loads of options. If they're happy with things as they are, they can simply do nothing, and that will be it. The whole movement kind of fails to achieve it.
Wait a minute. Let me rewind here.
Is change. So this is where the Commission actually has got loads of options. If they're happy with things as they are, they can simply do nothing, and that will be it. The whole movement kind of fails to achieve its goals. Now, if they do...
So you're telling me you want this to help, you got to go get 1 million signatures. You get 1 million signatures, they look it up and say, yes, there's an actual 1 million people that are interested in this. And they're like, okay, we can bring it to court. Let's just make sure that all of these things, or I'm sorry, to the parliament. We're now at the point where, okay, these are real 1 million people. This is a real problem. They get there and they go, yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're not going to do anything. Because one company, if it's Take-Two, Ubisoft, EA, Microsoft, Sony goes, so how much for this to go away? No, 30. They would never do that. That would be against the law. That would be against the law. They would never pay people off to look the other direction.
Agree that there's a problem and think that they can fix it by reinterpreting existing law, so essentially giving new guidelines on that law, then they can do that. And we've even got a recent example of this working for video games. Remember the whole story in the EU with premium currency displays? That was actually one of these things, and it's kind of a wild story. It's essentially a big legal win for all of us, and it's all thanks to a Swedish horse girl game getting really fucking greedy and getting called out for it. So that...
Yeah, great. So now, instead of seeing 900 rupees of horse shoes on the game, now it just says it's $90. It just says $90. Amazing change, right? Amazing change. I mean, it is a good change, but it's not. The problem is it's $90. It's a $90 microtransaction. Not that we couldn't understand it was $90.
Can happen. Or, of course, there's the other option of just proposing new legislation. And that's where things would get even more complex. Of course, new legislation means new research is needed, and that means public consultations, impact assessments, very, very fun stuff, and then votes from the EU Parliament and Council. And that is, of course, when Video Games Europe would absolutely be stepping up any of their lobbying efforts. But regardless, in both the cases of the UK and the EU, getting a decision will take time. And even after a decision comes, that is not actually the end. Okay, so one of the big goals of this video is basically explaining to you how this kind of thing actually works so we can all understand it. So to do that, we took a look at the other EU petitions, and of the 119, 10 of them passed. And examining
119, 10 passed.
Them, one thing is abundantly clear. These things do not move quickly. So here's the working example.
They don't move quickly on purpose. That's part of the design. It's part of the design. We live in a world where you can get anything you want delivered instantaneously to your house within minutes, if not hours. Okay? But yet, to vote on things, to understand what's happening, we have the most antiquated shit, right? Remember what Elon was talking about when he was going through with Doge and he was saying that some of these companies still had PCs from like the 1980s. They were still using like data machines, like fax, you know, the dot matrix stuff. It's like, what are we talking about? Like, why can't we? And again, I'm just saying shit here, okay? Why couldn't you just I could do a poll right now, right? I could do a poll right now in the stream and say, hey, what do you guys think about this, right? So if there's a platform, let's say a social media platform where you could take millions and millions of voters from that area. Now, obviously, I understand that You can't verify if these people are real or fake or whatnot. But there's got to be a faster way for the people to vote on what they like or don't like. Not some old people that don't understand anything like, I got lunch in like 30 minutes. Can we speed this up? Like, it's amazing to me that technology is so far beyond what we're doing as a society. And I understand that they have a thing and we have our thing, but it's just like, holy Christ, can we get something just to speed up the process a little bit more than 15 months? And at the end of the 15 months, they're like, yeah, no, we're good.
Example we're going to go through, it's the End the Cage Age petition. It passed late 2019, but it wasn't answered until mid 2021. Obviously, it's a different story. You know, games are not exactly farmed in cages, but it's a useful example because the whole Stop Destroying Games petition is the same sort of thing as this, a European citizens' initiative. So the initial response to this actually seemed positive because it outlined plans for a legislative agenda. That gave people quite a bit of hope. But of course things would drag it out. You know, research from the European Food Safety Authority, considerations of other legislation in related fields, research and stakeholder needs, and all of the many, many, many complex things that I'm sure committees exist to, I don't know, go and commit over. Anyway, how did this all play out? Well, over the following 3 years, there was a whole web of updates, and there was some good stuff, but here's the thing. The specific demand of banning the cages did not happen. So because of that, the petition makers are now suing the European Commission essentially for...
This is so ridiculous, man. The Commission challenges all for failure to ban cage farming. Private servers are not always a viable alternative option for players. To protection to put in place a secured players' data. Remove illegal content, combat unsafe community. Content would not exist, and it would also leave right holders liable. Okay, so they went through the whole process. They did what they were supposed to do. And then they didn't do it.
Failing to deliver.
So like, yeah, sue us. Yeah, sue us. What are you gonna do? We have more money than you. Go ahead.
And it's not the first time, right? This year, whenever final appeals exhausted, courts confirmed that citizens' initiative petitions, like of course Stop Destroying Games, that those do not create legally binding requirements.
So then what is the point? What is the point to go through all of this? Why are we being cordial about this shit, right? So this is exactly what would happen. You would go through this whole thing, and then they go, nah. No? Oh. Like, what are we talking about, right? The failure to succeed fails. The minority safe pack case recently rejected the appeal to confirmation to establish the case law. Successful ECIs merely invite commission to propose legislation rather than creating a legal binding obligation to do so. So it's more of a suggestion. Hey, people don't like what you're doing. You should change it. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the very, very beginning before you even watched this video. Okay? You want things to change? We, the people, doesn't matter what it is. Video games, movies, gas, car prices, house prices, whatever. We make noise, okay? Not these companies. The companies don't give a shit. They're going to draw it out because they have lawyers and they have more money, okay? But if you stop buying their products, if you stop doing the things they want you to do, guess what? Things change much faster.
To implement change. And that's why it matters for us. Even if this does go through, it's not like it creates some sort of legal requirement for a change to be made. What they haven't done is actually fully deliver on any of the 10. And that may seem real bad, real doomer, and bad for the thing that I guess we care about now. But I actually don't think it really is. Because if you think about this overall situation, it does actually make sense. This is a multinational process with global impact, an insane number of stakeholders, and like hundreds of millions of people. That's big. And it means that any changes that are done too quickly or are done poorly, you know, vague wording, under-regulation, over-regulation, those could have a really bad negative impact. So
yeah, we can't do this because this person over here paid me money 10 years ago, and if I vote on this, then this doesn't look good on me. So I can't do this. This stuff is so bad, man.
what we essentially have right now is the maximum negative...
And this is just for stop killing video games. Right? This is not including all the other actual things that affect us in everyday lives. This is just a, hey, can you not kill the games that we paid for? like of all the rules and stuff that are going through the world, this is pretty low on the standard. But for video gamers, it's pretty high. They're like, hey, I gave you money. I don't want to lose the thing I paid for. Can we not take these things offline?
Position of Video Games Europe, which is essentially advocating for no change and the status quo. You then have perhaps a maximalist version of Stop Killing Games, which is, let's just say, way over here. Any movement in the direction of Stop Killing Games would mean progress. And that's why, even though I don't expect Stop Killing Games will be fully implemented or anything close to that, I still think it's worth a shot because I think it has a very real chance of progress. So the EU...
It's just easier to let them die. You could fight for it. You could fight to keep the games alive. But at the end of the day, if you want this to change, then you have to stop buying games that are live service games that live and breathe on the internet and we're going to get taken down. Because if you stop buying them, they'll stop making them. And if they stop making them, then we don't have this issue. They go back to making single-player games, okay? Because they'll be like, huh, how come no one's buying our games? How come no one's buying our live service games? Because they know they're going to be taken away. We know that the license is a license now and not that we own it. So we're not going to buy it. Why am I going to buy your game? I'll go play something else. I'll go do anything else.
It won't be fast. The UK won't be fast, but they do know that people care. The question then is whether they can do anything about it. And one of the key things there is in fact going to be you. In a way, Stop Killing Games is in an almost dangerous position right now. Here's the big point of today. With the petition passed, many people have treated it like somewhat of a finish line, as if somehow change will just happen from some...
Just osmosis. Be like, we did it. We signed a petition. Yeah, baby. We signed the petition. It's all over. Games are not going to die. No, that's not what's going to happen. What happens here is all of these people sign the petition, and if it doesn't go through, they'll be like, what's the point? What's the point? Why did we sign the petition? Why did we get together? All it is a megaphone, right? All it is a megaphone. Hey, everybody, let's tell people we don't like this. You know how you also do that? You don't buy the stuff. Yeah, I know, it's sad. It's sad. I'll never get to play the crew again. I get it. I totally understand. I want to own the game that I bought, but you don't get that, right? You don't get that because people look at certain games and go, well, that game was shit. I don't care about that. Well, this game was cool. So that's the... These are the tests. Like when you start making a product, the first couple ones that come out of the assembly line, okay, they're just throwaways. And then you make sure the rest of them are good, right? So Stop Killing Games is bringing light to the subject of, yeah, there's more games coming out that they're going to take away from us. It's going to happen more and more because more games are live service games. Okay? Well, how do we fix this? You stop buying live service games at the start. So they don't even get the time frame for people to love it and be disappointed when it goes away.
Somewhere. I don't know, I'm imagining like Drunk Randy in the old South Park episodes just shouting change. So yes, there was celebration. There was a victory, but it's not the full thing. Immediate change won't happen. The danger then is that when that change does not immediately happen, people tend to lose interest.
Yeah,
or they get
course.
frustrated and they try to just abandon the system entirely. Now,
there's people when the light turns green, I'm one of them. If the car in front of me, 5 cars deep, light's green, I'm sitting there going, go. You gotta go. Go. Right? I'm that impatient at a stoplight. You think people are not gonna... They're gonna forget about this as soon as they're done. They're like, I signed it. Oh, wait a minute. 15 months ago, what was that? Oh, it didn't pass? What was the point?
this video is about giving you the context to understand what's actually happening, that this will take a long time, and that all parties will need to compromise. Yes, stop killing games, but also, well, the games industry. What compromises will they be willing to make when forced? That's a big question. And if you want to actually influence how that will go, guess what you need to do? You need to follow up with your MEPs if you're European. If you're a UK citizen, perhaps contact your MPs, because what we see here is actually evidence of your power. If you had no power, Video Games Europe would not have felt the need to respond. But if you want progress, then what you need to do, what we need to do, is fairly simple. It's to keep the energy up, to give this the fuel that it needs to actually last the journey. Because say 2 years pass and there's some important committee where a thing is going to be decided upon. If we've all forgotten about it and just not given it energy, it will sort of peter out. And while that committee meeting may happen, all the people there will know, it seems the public have really lost interest.
But that's the point. What he said there is 100% true. That's the point. We don't need Parliament. We don't need the government. We just speak. We as a group just say, no, we don't want this anymore. We don't want this anymore. It'll get changed faster than if we went through this whole process. Think about that. If we all collectively said, we're done with live service games, obviously it's never going to happen, okay? Because only 1.2 million people, how many hundreds of millions of people play video games? Okay, billions of people play video games, and only 103 million people signed a petition in Europe. Okay, people don't care. They don't care. But if you make big enough noise, as he just said, if you keep it going, if we keep it saying stuff, then they'll be like, hey, the public really cares about this. We should do something. And if it benefits the politician, wherever they are in the world, going, well, I'm the guy speaking for you, and I'm going to be there for you. That's just to progress their career, not because they actually care. They're like, oh, I can get behind this. This is a big movement. There's a lot of people that are voters that because if I do this for them, they might vote for me later, right? That's how that works, okay? Well, let's just cut out the bullshit, and let's just not support the things that you don't want to support, right? But what about the guys that are making the games? They're losing their jobs anyway. So we might as well work together and try to fix the industry without going through all these hoops, okay? Because at the end of the day, they don't have to do anything. They go, thanks for the signatures. Thanks for letting us know.
So if what you're worried about is Video Games Europe being the only loud voice in that room, well, think about how you can keep the energy, keep the pressure up over the long term. That's the lesson of today's video. If you want to see how this practically applies to an actual video game, watch this one next.
All right, so go check out Bueller's video down below. Give it a like. Give it a like. Hit a subscribe button. It's crazy. All of that for naught. That's what it's going to be. 15 months. And even if it comes out, they just change it just slightly. As Nintendo's doing with the patent. They're like, oh, wait a minute. They can still change mounts, but we have to change the wording. We got to change the word. That's all they'll do. And you ever notice it's much easier to hand them money to get it back, right? You can pay for something. They take it instantaneously. But if you want that money back for some sort of refund or something, you got to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop. You got to contact someone. Oh, by the way, our office is only open for 2 hours a day. Oh, by the way, there's no actual person you can talk to. You're going to have to go to this this helpline, which is an AI bot that's actually talking to you. Oh, by the way, you have to submit your eye scan plus a blood sample just to get a refund back. And oh, by the way, can I have your driver's license because you did one last week because the product was shitty, but you're only allowed 3 returns in a thing. It's really easy to get rid of your money. Super hard to get it back. Super hard to get it back. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Z says, during the 9 months, wait, they hope the issue will just go away. It's exactly right. That's why it takes so long. Even if it gets through, it'll be post-dated by a few years. Rourke says this could also companies to hurry and kill off hundreds of games while they're also going through this process. 100%. It's happening right now. Anthem's down, right? You won't be able to play Anthem. Everyone's like, well, it's just Anthem. That's not the point. The point is that you paid for that game. The point is that I can't play the Red War from Bungie. A clip says, remember, Grand Theft Auto 6 is predicted to make $7 billion in 2 months. I don't think they give the money to the government. Will hurt them. Remember, what was the story we did a while ago, Eclipse, where they were being fined and they weren't getting paid, like they only had to pay them like $6 million, but they make $1 billion a month? What the fuck is $6 million to them? They're like, oh, well, the penalty is $6 million. They're like, Here's 7. Just put it on a tab for us for the next time. What are we talking about? Ray says, in my opinion, the beauty of live service are the members of I Was There, or the memories of I Was There. It's special. Right now, I'm rushing the Anthem campaign. I see what you're saying, and you can also put that in the place of why people. We actually kind of brought this up last night, like when I was playing Marvel Rivals. Like, people buy Game of the Year editions, but they don't play the game. Do you know what I mean? They buy the Game of the Year edition just so they can say, yeah, I have that game. That's a good game. I own it. But they don't play it. Right? We're all guilty of that. Because, like you're just saying there, live services are about memories. Well, even single-player games that are Game of the Year, people buy it because they just want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of something. Argus says companies say that it's expensive to make games playable after they shut down, but the amount of money above zero for something they don't want to do is expensive. Yeah, because they're not getting anything from it. It's like, oh, well, I don't know. They actually have Battleborn and the Reborn. Download it. Haven't played it yet, but I have it. Wait, can I still play Battleborn? I talked to 4 people in the Philippines. I'm in Wisconsin. Yeah. That's why I like Steam refunds. They're really easy, no questions asked, most of the time. Some of these toxic companies budget for that fine. Oh, 100%. 100%. All right. The last story, or the last topic we got today, is from Video Advice. Okay, it's got 3.66 million subscribers. I don't have them in the description because I found it right before I went live. So let me put this in the description down below. I saw this and it popped up right before I went live, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let's look at this. Right? This is about Hacker Warns. Right? It's video advice. Okay. Never watched a video from this channel before. Okay. So now the link is in the description down below. Okay. So this is, make sure it's on normal. This is our rabbit hole segment.
Oh, where I land, I do not know. Here I fall down the rabbit's hole.
All right. So let's go to this. This is a introduction, okay? Or sorry, a hacker warns millions are being watched right now. Check your devices, okay? If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. There you go. I said it twice.
Anything with a battery and a connection or remote connection in any type of way where it reaches the outside of that device is hackable or has been hacked.
The internet.
Oh, you're not getting sound. Here you go.
Anything remote, infrared, like a TV remote. I mean, anything with a battery and a connection or remote connection in any type of way where it reaches the outside of that device is hackable or has been hacked.
We're talking about the Internet of Things. We're talking about putting chips into physical objects and connecting them to the internet. And what that does is create a lot of data. And that data can be used for convenience, for efficiency, but it can also be a very attractive nuisance for hackers. And it also doesn't receive privacy protection under the Fourth Amendment in the way that you and I think, would like to see it protected.
What big tech has created in surveillance capitalism is more pervasive and more intrusive than anything you could ever possibly. It's more pervasive than Marcus Wolf of the Stasi or Beria of the KGB, of the NKVD. could ever
Or
possibly
anything
imagine.
that happens in contemporary North Korea.
Yes, exactly.
Samsung issued this updated warning, or whatever you want to call it.
It wasn't a warning. It was legally binding, like they had to put it out there just in case.
On their products that this may be happening. Sort of an ominously worded document, right?
It was a little ominous. It said, you know, be careful about what you say in front of the television. Try not to have any sensitive conversations in your living room.
Or anywhere in your house. Because anything that's hooked up to the internet, your AC thermometer now, your Ring camera out front door, your television set, your box, your telephone, right? Everything is being recorded.
Because the TV is going to be recording what you say and sending that data off to another company.
People still close the bathroom stall when you go into the toilet.
Yeah, but yet you have your phone in there with you. People don't like to think that, but that camera works both ways. Just because you can't see it operating, because it doesn't pop up on your screen, doesn't mean someone else is not activating it.
You still close the shower curtain. We still do lots of things that we expect to have a privacy, but yet people with a regular phone put it on their nightstand and are surprised that the microphone is listening.
They didn't break in. They didn't need to, because you let them in.
Yeah, you let them in.
A few smart upgrades, a voice assistant here, a connected TV there, maybe even a charger that seemed a little too convenient. You clicked I agree without reading.
That's the key word there, right? Convenience. Convenience is everything. Right? You're like, I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. And then in the same sentence, you're like, I don't understand why I keep getting advertisements for this thing on my phone or on my computer, or why I keep getting brochures sent to the house. How is that possible? How did they know?
Reading the fine print, because everyone does. But in that moment, you didn't just make your life easier. You opened the door to something else. Now your home runs on data. And it's not just collecting yours, it's sent.
A smart home is basically a retarded home. Right? If you have a smart home, you're literally just giving out your information left and right. You got a dummy home.
Sending it somewhere, quietly, constantly, without ever asking again. So think about it. How many devices inside your house are actually spying on you? The answer is more than you think.
Anything remote, infrared, like a TV remote that goes for projectors, audio devices, ceiling fans. I mean, very simple.
Oh, shit. I just got a ceiling fan. Oh, fuck.
Simple stuff, along with access control badges, anything sub-gigahertz, like key fobs or remote controls for anything, parking gates, so much.
Everything.
Everything.
You think you're alone in your living room, while the TV's on standby and the remote is just sitting there on the couch. But what if that remote, the one inches from your face, is constantly collecting data? In 2015, Samsung quietly dropped a line into their smart TV manual. Not a bug warning, not a battery tip, a sentence that read, if your spoken words include personal or other sensitive information, that information will be among the data captured and transmitted.
What? They have this. They have this on their policy. Please be aware that if your spoken words include personal or sensitive information, that information will be among the data captured. What's on TV, honey?
They weren't warning you about a glitch. They were admitting the remote could hear everything. It was a disclosure, legal protection for behavior they knew would raise questions. And it did. The story exploded after The Guardian reported on it. The Electronic Privacy Information Center, or EPIC, filed a complaint to the FTC. They accused Samsung of collecting user voice data without proper disclosure or consent. And the EFF went further, comparing it to something straight out of 1984.
But here's the thing. I like watching TV. I like watching my 62-inch television set or 120-inch television set with 4K. It's just so awesome. I don't care. Not me personally. I'm just saying people in general, right? I don't care. I got nothing to hide. But yet everything you say is exposed. And then until that day that happens where you get hacked and you're like, how did I get hacked? I didn't bring my thing anywhere. I didn't do anywhere with this. I didn't get my credit card stolen. No, you literally said the credit card number out loud when you were on the phone, okay, or talking to somebody.
Their warning? Don't talk about personal matters near your television, ever. And what can happen if you leave your remote lying around?
I mean, anything with a battery and a connection, a remote connection, in any type of way where it reaches the outside of that device is hackable or has been hacked.
Anything remote and connected to a network, just like your TV remote, can be easily hacked to get all your personal data.
Everything's going out. Everything's going out. Everything. I can't be online anymore, guys. I'm gonna have to wear a tinfoil hat. I'm gonna have to do uploads only. I'm gonna have to drive to a different location so I can upload my stuff.
Even if you try disabling the mic in your remote, for a second, it looks like it worked. The voice command icon disappears. But that's just for show. The system doesn't stop listening.
Think about that for a second. They're like, no. The mic stays on. We'll just show them that the mic is off. And you're like, oh. Remember the analogy I said with if Jason was standing outside my window, I roll up the window, there's a murderer outside my window, and I'm like, oh, and I just close the window. Murderer's still outside there. He's still going to kill me, okay? Just because I close the window doesn't mean he's not there. Just because you shut the microphone off doesn't mean the mic is actually off, because they don't show you the mic is off.
It just stops responding to you. What you've disabled isn't the microphone, it's the trigger. The hardware stays active. The logs keep building. And the light? It's just for show. And that's the part they don't advertise. Because this wasn't just Samsung. Most smart remotes now include wake word detection.
Even if you live in a hole, Eric, you're probably still going to be seen. You're probably still going to be seen because there's like a microchip inside of the shovel.
Detection, which means the mic is always on standby. So ask yourself, if a device can hear you when you're not speaking to it, who's it really designed to serve? And also, what could happen when the same power isn't tucked behind your TV, but sitting in your pocket? Yes, we're talking about your mobile phone. It's the one device that never leaves your side. Your alarm clock, your camera, your bank, your map. But underneath all that convenience is the most advanced tracking system you've ever owned.
Remember back in the day, if you're old enough, remember when people were like, hey, they wanted to track us. They're like, no, I can't believe the government wants to do that. They're never going to do that to me. 2007, new cell phone created, a smartphone. They're like, oh my God, can you imagine? Oh, it's got a camera. It's got voice recording. Oh, it's got GPS. I'm going to put it out of my pocket. They were going to give me one of these for free. I told them to go fuck themselves. I said, I'm going to pay $1,100 for this one.
And you carry it around willingly. You don't need to open an app. You don't even need to touch it. Your phone is collecting data all the time, whether it's in your hand, on your nightstand, or stuffed in a drawer. Here's what your phone is doing while you're asleep.
So what happens to those recordings?
Well, we've been doing a study following our device, a Google Mobile Services phone, any Android running Google Mobile Services, which is all of them, or an iPhone. And at about 3 a.m., we're seeing a spike of data leaving the phone. About 50 megabytes.
Well, it's uploading to the server.
That is basically that phone dialing home to the mothership.
Yeah, there's no reason for my phone to upload anything if 3 a.m.
Exporting all of your goings on.
All your pillow talk is going to
Pillow talk, whatever.
We think of our phones as passive tools, but they're not. They watch, they listen, they predict. People often joke, my phone heard me, when an ad pops up seconds after a private conversation. But when thousands of people experience this,
it's because it's convenience, Jones, right? Jones says, I remember years ago when cell phones came out, my mom refused to get one for a long, long time. Then I was surprised when she did because it's convenience. Friends are like talking about stuff. Hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you watch this? Did you see this? Look at this. These are my pictures. And your mom's like, oh, that's so nice. They get to show me pictures. They could go on the web and check stuff out. Right? Like, that's what it is. And they're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm going to get one. Oh, it's so nice. My whole life is organized on my phone. It's convenience. And you're okay with it because you're like, well, I'm getting this out of it, so I'm okay if they take a little bit of data. Right?
Maybe it's not a joke at all. And it's not just what you say. Your movements, your browsing, your app habits, everything builds a detailed fingerprint of your behavior. A digital version of you, constantly being tracked, bought, and sold without your permission. That's why I use Incogni, a subscription service that removes your personal data from hundreds of
an advertisement inside this. This is the second video to talk about this back to back. How long is this video? How old is this video? This is from 2 weeks ago. Incogni? How do I know you're not taking my information?
Of data brokers that collect and resell it. The process is super simple. You create an account using only the personal
convenience. Super simple. It's super simple.
Info you want removed. Then you give Incogni the right to act on your behalf. After that,
I ain't giving you shit to on my behalf.
You can sit back and relax. Incogni will do the rest, automatically contacting data brokers and
stop it. This guy just told me that the microphone on my television set says it's off, but it really is not off. If I say request sent 45, request in progress 45, and it comes back and says request complete 45, how do I know that's doing anything? You literally just told me the microphone shows that it's off, but it's not. So how am I supposed to take this seriously?
And making sure your info is wiped from their systems. I've personally seen my data removed, and with how aggressive tracking has become, it's one of the easiest steps you can take today to protect your digital life. Take your personal data back with Incogni.
Bro. It's a bad ad. It's a bad ad during a hacking thing. Just saying. Right? Obviously, it's a good ad for him because you instill fear into people, and then you sell them. You sell them on the thing that's going to help them make the problem, sell a solution.
Use code ADVICE at the link below and get 60% off an annual plan.
I might give him the money instead of Bellier because it's only 6 letters instead. It's much more convenient for me to type advice.
But tracking is just the beginning, because the next threat, it doesn't need your data, just a charging cable.
What is this?
I'm sorry, what?
Just out of curiosity.
This looks like something I would use to charge my phone. With a charger, yeah.
And you know, that's, so I have every single charger you can imagine in here, all of them, right? So actually what this is, the reason why I have this little orange thing here is because there is no way I'd ever know that this was a charger. I'm sorry, that this was not a charger without this orange tag, because it is that perfect. So the NSA is selling these for $20,000.
The NSA is selling a $20,000 USB charger or spy tool. How hackers use this device to steal your data instantly. Amazing.
$20,000. So this is a charger that will work. I could hand this to you and say, hey, here's my charger, man, or replace yours, right? Whatever you got plugged in, I'm sure I have a replacement for that.
Okay.
You bring this home, it could act like a charger forever, but as soon as this plugs in, inside of this tiny little plastic right here, inside of this is a Wi-Fi chip, a mini computer, and this thing emulates a keyboard and can type at 860 characters per second.
That's what makes it so dangerous. The OMG cable works even after it's unplugged, using a tiny onboard chip that can transmit commands over Wi-Fi. It doesn't just act like a...
Am I a conspiracy nut? I'm not a conspiracy nut, but I'm also not just walking around the world like, yeah, it's amazing. I pay attention. You ever been to a gas station where someone's trying to rob you with the credit card thing on top of the thing? I found one of those before, where they put the credit card on top of the actual gas pump. Right? Like, I've found that before. Brought it inside the gas station, said, here you go. They're like, what is that? I said, that was on your gas pump. Stealing people's credit cards.
Hacker tool, it is one. And yes, they're sold online to anyone.
I'm going to plug this into USB.
I'm sorry, did they just say $200?
And yes, they're
$179.99.
sold online to anyone.
I'm going to plug this into USB-C, which, you can pick whatever one you want. So that's plugged into USB-C. This side, I'm not going to connect to anything. I could charge my phone with it. I could do whatever I want with it. But what I'm going to do is on my phone, I'm going to go to Wi-Fi. I'm going to click OMG. Now I just created a network from this cable that's plugged in. It's not plugged in.
We don't have an OMG network here.
No.
Okay.
No, and this is not.
Yeah, probably Quintar, but I didn't get hacked. Not that day anyway.
Not plugged into anything.
Okay.
So this is creating a Wi-Fi network.
Yep.
I'm going to go to it in my browser, and then I have an interface here that I can connect with. So I'm going to go in the file menu. I'm going to load payload 1. There we go. All right. So ready?
This guy's using his power for good. At least we think. Not for evil.
Now I'm going to hit build and run, which I could be very far away from the computer. This is just showing an example of it. See how fast that's typing?
What's it doing?
It's typing PBD podcast and 0 day was here.
Get out of
So that could have been anything. That could have been a malicious command. That could have been a virus that it downloaded. That could have been anything that I wanted it to be. And I have now remote control over this cable that if I plug right into my phone, watch, plug it into my phone. Charging. You would have no idea that this implant is in your house.
MG, the creator of the cable, confirmed that modified versions have been tested on iPhones, Androids, Windows laptops, and even car diagnostic systems. The attack happens instantly, often before you realize anything's off.
Why make something like this? You see the problem? Why make something like this? Because he can, and there's a market for it. There's a market for it for people that are criminals that use this type of stuff, or investigators that like to use this type of stuff.
And if a single cable can do that much damage, what do you think a Wi-Fi connected light bulb is capable of? You screw it into a lamp.
First of all, I never understood any of these things, right? If I want to turn a light on or off, I walk up to it and I just do this, right? I just hit the button. I don't need an app to shut off lights in my house. I don't need Wi-Fi light bulbs. Do you know what I mean?
Open an app, suddenly your room is bathed in blue light, synced to your playlist, and dimmed just right for the evening. That's what smart bulbs promise, comfort and convenience. But what most people miss...
Hold on a second. Did she have is that a marijuana plant in the background? No, it's not.
That's what smart bulbs promise, comfort and convenience. But what most people miss is that every one of those bulbs is also a potential entry point into your home network. A light bulb shouldn't need Wi-Fi, but when it does, hackers start paying attention. Watch how a standard smart bulb can be hijacked to monitor your network.
Okay, so parents out there, before he even talks about this light bulb, 10 years ago when we first had our son, we had baby monitors, right? And I was so paranoid because people could hack into your system. We used to live in a condo, so everyone else's Wi-Fi would pop up or whatever, right? And there was there was news articles going around that people were hacking in to your baby cam, and then talking and messing with the kid inside the actual thing. I was like, what the, like, why would you even do that? So we got rid of that real fast.
This light bulb can monitor your Wi-Fi network and steal your password. Check this out. Now I'm going to put this bulb inside of a regular lamp. And it turns on like a regular bulb. As soon as the bulb receives power, it creates a Wi-Fi network that I can connect to.
It's quite genius, actually.
And here's the panel. I can choose from other Wi-Fi networks. I'm going to choose my own, select the monitor option, and now we have a bunch of what appears to be random data. I can download this file, and I'll show you what that can do. There are many things you can do with this bulb, including determining if someone is home with Bluetooth Low Energy, cracking your Wi-Fi password, or in my case, showing an insecure camera stream that runs over HTTP. I extracted the PCAP file into a tool called Wireshark.
and now you see there's frames. Don't get intimidated. Watch what happens next. Constructing all them frames from Wireshark now shows a live view of my backyard because the camera is transferring over HTTP.
Bro. Just plug your ears, close your eyes, and go on with your day.
It doesn't just pull data from your Wi-Fi.
There's a lot of boring people out there. They got a lot of time on their hands, and I'm sure they're doing this stuff.
It can analyze traffic, log what's happening in your system, and even act as a launchpad for further attacks. And the worst part? It still dims on command, still changes color when you say so, all while quietly cracking the digital lock behind your firewall. In 2020, Checkpoint Research exposed a critical vulnerability in Philips Hue smart bulbs. They showed that by compromising a single bulb using the Zigbee protocol, an attacker could infect the bulb, jump into the lighting hub, and from there, into the user's phone, and finally into the Wi-Fi router itself.
Jesus Christ. Because if someone bought a bulb, a hacker could get into the bulb, which then could get control of their Wi-Fi, which gets control of their phone, which then gets them inside their computer.
From a mood light to a full network access in just a few silent hops. And the scary part is, most smart bulbs often ship with weak or no encryption. Some even use outdated wireless protocols and retain your network credentials. Most brands favor easy setup over actual security, which means your light bulb might be flashing signals to someone who isn't you. And if a light bulb, something that's only supposed to glow, can be turned into a back door, what do you think is possible?
That's pretty freaky, right? Because if you live in a house, and let's say like your neighbor knows that you're single, and then all of a sudden they get control of your light and they can control your lights, and then you know someone's controlling, you're freaking out. You're like, I think my lights are being controlled by somebody else. You're like, that's not possible because you don't know about this stuff, right? And then someone's just messing with you the entire time. That's sadistic, dude. That's pretty fucked up. That goes beyond like joking.
With a screen that sees, hears, and streams everything. It starts the second you turn it on. Not just the show, but the tracking. Your smart TV doesn't just know what you're watching, it knows how long you hovered before you clicked.
That's what YouTube does right now. YouTube knows if you stop on the screen, even if you're scrolling, that moment that you pause when you're scrolling, just to take that from like lifting up your finger to go down to the bottom of the screen to do this, if you pause on that screen, it goes, oh, he's interested in that.
It knows when you paused, it knows when you walked away, and that's not a bug. That's the whole point. In one chilling demo, a cybersecurity expert pulls up a seemingly harmless smart TV. But behind that clean interface, there's a lot more going on. The smart TV has a webcam and a microphone, he explains, and it can be turned on without you ever knowing. He moves through the settings, revealing just how easily hackers can hijack the TV's hardware, turning it into a surveillance device aimed directly at your living room.
What's really eye-opening here is you...
Tape on all cameras. What do? You got to put a sheet, a cover on top of your television set?
Watch your TV, but with this hack, your TV can watch you. Show us how that works.
Is the camera behind the screen, or is it some TVs? I don't own a television set with a camera, at least I don't think I do.
So one of the things that we were able to do with the Smart TV platform was actually abuse the browser to the extent that we could actually gain access to the camera that's built into the TV.
Right.
And so what we can prove here is that with a little bit of extra code, we can...
And it's not going to do that at your house. That's going to be behind the screen. Like, the opacity won't be there. He's showing it to her. It's got to be.
Turn the camera on in your browser.
Wow.
And while this is evident to you right here because we've designed it that way, this is something that we can do invisibly and actually have the camera running.
Oh, you got a camera on top. Okay.
Behind the web page that you're looking at.
So what this means is I could be sitting here watching TV from my bedroom.
Naked. That's what she wants to say. I get out of the shower, I'm watching television, and someone could be watching me. Yes. Yes.
And you could be anywhere in the world looking at this image of me watching.
Yep, I could be sitting on a laptop in a cafe in Paris. And as long as I have a network connection, I'd be able to get into your TV and access the camera.
The kind of scary things about it is that it doesn't actually give any indication that the camera's on. and there is no little LED that shows up when the camera's on. So it could actually be watching you and you never even know.
The backbone of it all is something called automatic content.
Why aren't there lawsuits? Why isn't there a lawsuit going on with all these companies with this technology inside their devices?
Recognition, or ACR. It doesn't just log what you stream, it scans everything on your screen, from Netflix and YouTube to HDMI inputs. It fingerprints each frame, tracks how long you watch, when you pause, what you skip.
And just think about this. With all this information, nobody still watched The Acolyte.
And quietly sends it all out. Not just to the TV brand, but to third-party servers, advertisers, and data brokers paying for access to your habits. Most of the time, it's running in the background, buried behind settings you've probably never touched. In 2017, Vizio was fined $2.2 million by the FTC for secretly using ACR to spy on over 11 million TVs.
I'm sorry. The most shocking thing is not them spying on people. The biggest shock here is Vizio paid $2.2 million. Hold up. They only paid $2.2 million to the FTC? They collected viewing history of 11 million smart televisions, and they only paid $2.2 million. What are we talking about here?
By the FTC for secretly using ACR to spy on over 11 million TVs. Users weren't warned. The setting was enabled by default, and
well, there you go, Eric. What you're saying is you're hitting okay. This goes against it. They got sued.
Data sold, ripped straight from your living room without a word.
It's TVs collecting viewer data on 11 million TVs without consuming knowledge or consent.
Today, many modern TVs still ship this way. Some even include cameras and mics buried behind menus with vague labels like experience enhancement.
If your smart TV has a camera on it, or
rip it out. Cover it up. Paint it. Do whatever you have to do.
Or like the new Facebook Portal, which is a TV-like device. It's a smart screen with a camera on the front of it. Many of the Alexa devices sold by Amazon also have cameras on.
Amazon's like, hey, your toilet paper's low. You're like, where the hell are you, Amazon? Would you like me to order you some?
On the front of those. So whether it's a TV or just a device with a screen, yeah, you want to make sure that that little slider is covering the camera and that the microphones are also physically covered. Now, the new Alexa devices sold by Amazon have what they call privacy protections built in. You want to make sure that you...
Sure they do. I'm sure they do because they did it originally. I'm sure it's privacy now.
You are covering your device camera with tape yourself, and that you're covering those microphone holes. If you want this to be truly offline, also make sure you unplug it.
And most people never turn them off because they never know they're on.
Well, technically, they can have a battery in the inside of it where it still keeps it on, but doesn't show that it's on. So even if you unplug it, they can still keep it on and emits a small little bit of energy so they can still connect to it.
And if the screen you trust can betray you that easily, what about something even more invisible? Something hiding inside the walls. They're built into hotels, airports, cafes, and even brand new homes. USB wall outlets, sleek, modern, and always right where you...
For God's sakes. I have a battery pack I always bring with me.
Need them. You think they're there to give your phone a quick boost, but sometimes they're doing something else entirely. These ports are capable of transferring data as well as power, and attackers have figured out exactly how to exploit that. The cybersecurity world has a name for this: juice jacking, a method where malware is secretly delivered through a USB port when you plug in your device. Once connected, it can install spyware, skim data, even...
That's it, chat. We're cooked. Nobody can get away from anything. It is what it is. It's just how to minimize it.
Take remote control of your phone, all while it's charging like normal. Back in 2016, the SANS Institute and the NSA issued early warnings about it, mostly in relation to shady public charging.
Fast, free charging, and we're going to steal all your information. Compliments of the hacker.
Stations. But in 2023, the FBI made it official, releasing public advisories urging travelers to avoid USB outlets in airports, hotels, shops.
Think about that. The airport spent taxpayers paid money so they could renovate the airport with all of these new charging stations for the convenience of the people, and now they're telling you not to use them because of hackers. That's why I can't have nice things.
Shopping centers, anywhere a port could have been tampered with.
Any public place where somebody could have tampered with a USB port, just remember that's a data that has the potential for data transfer, not just power transfer.
Yeah, your local coffee shop or something.
Anywhere. Power outlet's good. USB outlets, not so much. Avoid them.
And these ports don't just deliver power. They're a potential backdoor. All it takes is a modified outlet with altered hardware, and your phone could be giving up its contacts, location, saved passwords without a single warning screen. And now that same...
No one's getting my passwords. My passwords are in my head. Hence why I have to keep asking for a new password.
attack vector is moving into private homes. Some smart USB wall outlets sold online come preloaded with malicious firmware. Once installed behind your wall panel, they're almost impossible to detect and there's no way to unplug. But not every threat hides in hardware. Some don't need to be installed in your wall. Just one click and they're already inside your device. You click a link in private mode, but private doesn't mean anonymous.
Well, nothing means anything anymore. I'm telling you, right? Nothing means anything anymore. It looks like it, but it's fake it till you make it, right? You go down the rabbit hole of people have 1,000 people watching them, but do they? Do they actually have 1,000 people watching them? It says it has 1,000 people watching them.
In that moment, you...
Right? The organizations say that the movie's #1. Is it, though? It says it's packed, but is it?
Might be inviting more than a video...
ABC 1, 2, 3? No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like Spaceballs.
...to play. It could trigger keyloggers and trackers to slip quietly into your device. And this isn't hypothetical. Researchers from Norton Labs and McAfee...
You know what? I think you have something there, I'll turn. I might work on that.
...have documented cases of malware distribution through adult sites, often disguised as video enhancements or innocuous...
Are the power outlets safe? I can run internet through my power outlets with my with a simple device. They said that the power devices, if you're charging through an outlet, it's fine. But if you're charging through a USB hub, no.
Plugins. And what?
That's exactly right, Eric. It's the same code as my luggage.
Once installed, these programs can remain hidden for weeks, tracking your keystrokes and browsing history, even in incognito tabs. That private moment can quickly become a public record. Even John McAfee reveals how hackers, through sophisticated scripts embedded in adult websites, can silently download Android browsers into your systems and wipe out your bank account.
Well, joke's on you. I got nothing in my bank account. So go ahead. Suckers.
Pornography.
Wait a minute. Wait, I don't have anything in my bank account?
Site in the world. If you have ever, I'm sure nobody here has ever looked at pornography. But if you have keystroke locking software. How do you think they make their money? See, this is the issue. It costs millions of dollars to maintain these massive databases and have the bandwidth to disperse this pornography. And yet you don't pay? Yes, you're paying. The instant you visit the site, if you have an Android, for example, the site runs a JavaScript which sets the download unauthorized application flag.
So porn sites no one pays for. They just collect your data and sell it. It's pretty genius.
The very first video that you watch, you now, because that's a click-through. You clicked. You did something. You said, yes, oh, good, yes, I'll do that. Downloads, first and foremost, a remote rooting function. If it's an iPhone, a remote jailbreaking program. All can be remotely rooted now. After it's rooted, they download a keylogger, and all this takes just a matter of seconds. And from that point on, somebody is watching every single one of your keystrokes. Now, people pay these pornography sites for the ability to put their keylogging software on your phones. Now, why has this not happened to you already? Because hackers are not stupid.
So if we know about this, then why do we let that happen? And when I say me, I meant the government. I meant like the people. Like, if we know this is happening and there's evidence of this happening, then how do you not do anything about it? I know we have to take a vote. It's got to get a petition. It's got to go to Parliament.
In order to take something, they have to download additional software. If they only take 400 or 500 people's bank accounts in one day, then the next day the white hat hackers are going to say, this is how they did it. Everybody, you can protect yourself. No, they're going to wait until one day this year or next year, and 100 million people in one day are going to have your bank accounts eradicated. Zero balance, or your identity will be stolen.
My identity has been stolen. So I've actually had a problem for years. Someone stole my identity like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Open up a phone in a completely different state. I think it was under Verizon. And they've been trying to collect money from me for years. And every time I have a thing that says, no, that wasn't me, they sell that information to some other collector, and then they try to get the money from me again.
Or your Bitcoin wallet will be emptied. Or maybe they've been watching your keystrokes to see if, maybe you're saying something to a friend or a lover that maybe could compromise you. Maybe they can blackmail you. If they get lucky, you might be a United States congressman or a senator. In which case, now not only do they have money, they have power.
According to a 2019 study in New Media and Society, a staggering 93% of adult sites
22,484 pornographic websites indicate that 93% leak user data to third party.
Share user data with third parties, even when users believe they're undercover in privacy mode. These aren't just ads. Many of them deploy aggressive JavaScript that can deliver keylogging software and tracking pixels without requiring any clicks or
Another reason to go on eBay and buy a Playboy magazine.
Downloads. You type your password, private messages, banking details, and it's all being logged permanently. Android users are especially vulnerable. Certain browsers permit silent downloads, meaning that JavaScript can bypass prompts and install components instantly. All you need to do is visit. One click and everything you type, account info, messages, personal searches, could be scooped up in the background. The result is a trail of digital breadcrumbs that leaves you exposed well after you've left the website. You thought you bought convenience, but what you really got was a network of quiet observers, each one logging, syncing, transmitting. This isn't paranoia, it's the new baseline. In 2025, privacy is something you have to fight to keep. Let us know your thoughts.
Hence why you should get incognito. Or whatever the hell the website he was pitching before. It's a good video. It's a good video. Make sure you give it a like. Make sure you check out the link below. Look, was it Incog, whatever the fuck it was called. That's crazy shit, though. A cable. Basically, just run around, just everywhere you go, just look and go, that person's being hacked. That person's being hacked. Don't ever use local Wi-Fi. Don't use any of that stuff. Apple propaganda, so get an iPhone. Yeah, that's right. Go back to using pigeons. But the pigeons are robots, Krebsy. There is these little, if you're from Minnesota or Wisconsin, Dolphin is, right? Dolphin, there's like these little flying bugs. They look like little drones. I thought they were like baby wasps, but they weren't. I don't know what the fuck they are, okay? But they just float. And they're weird looking because they don't have like a nose or a snout. They're like flat. Like their face is flat. Okay? And it was funny, right? We were joking about this while we were there. We'd be outside. And I would pull my phone out. And you would see the little thing. Like it's so tiny. It would go. And it would float between me and the phone. And it would just stare at my phone. And I would, swat it away or whatever. And then it would come back and do it again. And I was like, what is this, a fucking drone? What is this? And we were just joking because it was so smooth and so small, and it was just like moving around, like a drone would. I don't know what it is. I was like, what are these things? We don't have them here in Florida, so. I was joking that it was an actual drone, but it almost made me think that it was actual drone. Your phone is dirty, 30? Why is it dirty? Why is my phone dirty? Yeah. Oh, wait. Pigeons are government spies. That's exactly right. Argus says, I would rather have my data stolen than switch to an iPhone. Oh, man. Within the last month, China's cyborg bees that have cameras. Is that true, Krebsy? Is that a thing? Let me see. First cyborg bee. Get out of here.
Our next
Hold on a second.
story is about cyborg bees. You heard that right. It's a well-known fact that bees play
Oh, I see what you did there. They could have spelled it. Seeing is believing. They should have put 2 E's there.
a critical role in the survival of life on the planet, and their role as pollinators is crucial to global food security, nutrition, biodiversity. But bees are not thriving. And according to the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, there has been a consistent decline in bee populations around the world since the 1990s. Climate change, human activity are the likely culprits. And given all of that, is it really a good idea to take bees and use them as bionic drones? That's precisely what scientists in China,
of course, why not? Why not?
Claim to have done. Viewers can judge for themselves. Now, bees are pretty special, like we said. They can carry nectar sacs that weigh as much as 80% of their body mass. They tuck their legs in like landing gear on airplanes to cut, drag, and they can fly up to 5 kilometers without a breather. Despite all the advances in technology, robotics is a long way off from creating a bionic insect that can match a bee's abilities, but humans are clever. Why not just commandeer a bee's brain and tell it what to do? That is how it's come to pass that a team at the Beijing Institute of Technology has built what it calls the world's lightest insect brain controller. At 74 milligrams, it is lighter than a sack of nectar. And according to the report that appeared in the South China Morning Post, the device is strapped to the bee's back and pierces the insect's brain with 3 needles. It creates illusions with electronic pulses to command the flight. Turn left, turn right, advance, retreat. According to a peer-reviewed paper published earlier this year in the Chinese Journal of Mechanical Engineering, test results have shown that the hapless bee getting zapped by these electrical pulses complies over 90% of the time. And it can do much better than a bionic robot.
Okay. If you say so. Going down the rabbit hole. Cyborg bees. A chip, an ultralight Chinese chip turns real bees into flying spy robots. Okay. Amazing stuff. Like this, literally just talked about this. July 15th. Ultralight Chinese chip turns real bees into flying spy robots. Amazing. But and Eclipse asked me if I am a conspiracy nut job. No conspiracy here. We just look at the facts. Altern says bees are losing their jobs to AI too. Yeah, look at that. What are they going to do? Eclipse says, man, that's the perfect way to make people won't ask questions. I remember like 10 or 15 years ago, everyone was trying to get a bee population to come back. We have bees on our property. There's a shortage of them. It's crazy. The bees actually, it's like they're almost committing suicide. They're like going places they usually don't go. They like go into the water and like drown themselves. It's crazy. All right. It's about that time. It's good stuff today. Lots of conversation. Lots of stuff to talk about. We'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us each and every single morning. Again, if you'd like to support us either by like, subscribe, membership, or the music that you heard in the beginning of the show or during the breaks, it's all an AI album that I created. I wrote it. I used AI music to create it. It's called Perk Up, Press Play. You can check it on all major platforms. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty, tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Laughs and news, our winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Come on in, your morning